to a very special episode of Educated Discussions. My podcast wife, Elmo, is not here today. But instead I got my real wife, Tara, to join us this evening. Are you excited?
Yes. So excited.
Okay, cool. All right, well, today we're going to be talking about our trip to Disney World in Orlando. I think that's the only one, right? What's the other one?
This is the only Disney World in Florida. And Disneyland is California.
Disneyland is California. This one's Disney World. So, we did pretty much all of the parks. We didn't do the water parks. I think there's like one or two of them. One of them was like Blizzard Beach. The other one, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the main parks we did. So, we did Magic Kingdom, of course. Hollywood Studios, Epcot, and the Animal Kingdom.
Typhoon Lagoon?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Anyways, have you had any experiences with Disney before?
I had a couple. When I was 7, I went with my family. It was like a big family trip.
Okay.
And it rained the whole time.
Oh,
yeah,
fun.
I remember we had ponchos. That's like the one distinct thing I remember is the yellow ponchos with Mickey on the back.
Okay.
And then they had these like fountain things, like actual little fountains, not like little spraying things, not the big ones that like you play at.
Like
and I remember playing with those when I was little there.
Okay.
When it was raining.
And I was 7 years old. That's what you remember. So you remember rain and fountains, which shoot out water, which is more rain.
And Splash Mountain, we did.
And Splash Mountain. So just a
it was a wet
day.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? You said you had a couple.
Oh yeah, and then like that was specifically Magic Kingdom, I guess, and then
Okay.
when I was older, Magic Kingdom.
Again? Okay.
Yeah, with my little sister and some ex people, but they
don't sound as handsome.
Nah. But but anyways, and that day wasn't very good either because I just felt like we just didn't do much, and I don't really know why, because maybe it was just really busy. I don't even know why we didn't really do much, but we didn't. So there wasn't much to remember there other than it was hot and getting free water. That was like the first time.
Whoa!
Right?
Look out!
Well, that's the first time I remember, or like that I remember learning about free water at places. Like they have to serve you free water if you ask for it.
Okay.
And
that's a weird thing to remember. But okay.
Yeah, but that's what I remember because it was really hot. And then like Buzz Lightyear and Jessie. But that was
like the characters out there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then in middle school, like random trips and stuff, I remember Epcot. And yeah.
Okay. My only experience with Disney was also a 6th grade trip to Epcot. And that was it. And I vaguely remember it. I will say that I was a big chicken at the time. And I remember that I had to stay with the chaperone while my friends all went on Test Track. Because I didn't realize what it was. I thought it was a roller coaster. All I saw that it went fast and you were in a car. And it just looked fast and loud. It was loud.
It was very loud.
Yeah. So I was like, my mom doesn't want me to go on roller coasters. She gets mad. It was the dumbest excuse, in 6th grade. So I just waited outside while they waited in a 60-minute line and then went. And yeah, I was by myself with the chaperone just hanging out. So I now rode the actual ride. And I will talk about that experience later. Okay, so a good thing to note for our experience that we just did recently, this is during COVID times. I don't know who's listening to this in the future. Hopefully more than the 16 people we have listening to our stuff now. But if we do pick up in numbers and this is the future, this is during June of 2021. So still during COVID. It looks like we're kind of breaching the end. A lot of regulations were being lifted. Like thankfully, right before we went, mask restrictions were lifted for outside. You still have to put it on whenever you get into a line and inside buildings and stuff. But they are starting to ease up on certain restrictions. There's still a lot of dividers and stuff, but it is starting to become the end. But still, A lot of stuff was affected due to COVID. And I know we can't help any of that, but that did come into play with our experience at Disney. So we will bring that up as we get to it. Before we get to reviewing the actual parks itself, what did you think about the dining experience?
There was lots of like pros and cons back and forth. Like it was like split. I feel like there was some good things and some bad things about it.
Elaborate.
Okay. So like prior to this, I like watched like my YouTube moms and like all their like Disney tips and stuff.
Yes.
And I remember one of the things they talked about that was worth getting was like a dining plan or a meal plan.
And of course, this was before COVID.
Yeah, it was like before COVID. So I don't know. Supposedly it was a good deal because you got like 2 meals a day and you got like a drink and a snack, and you can mix it up and do like double snacks instead of a drink or something like that. Mm-hmm. But whatever. So up until this, I forgot about the dining plan, but I went back to like look it up, and they removed it, I guess, because of COVID. So that's something that we wouldn't have been able to use anyways. But then when I was looking up, like researching like prices and stuff, it seemed like they ran anywhere from like $50 per person to like $78. I think I saw.
You know what? That's probably per person though.
Yeah, per person. And then it did include 2 meals and then the snacks and stuff, but then I don't know. And then it kind of seemed like you kind of maybe needed to be staying on the resort to also benefit from that. So I don't know if that was like one big package or something. So I don't know too much about it. So if that's something that comes back in the future, I don't know if that's something to look into. Anyways, what I think with what we spent, it seemed like per meal we probably spent about $50-something for 3 people, 3 adults.
Yeah.
So
I guess to mention, it was me, Tara, our child, and Tara's sister that went. So each time we sat down to eat, it was in the 50s. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Right? So I feel like a meal plan wouldn't benefit us.
Yeah.
But for people that maybe eat more or something, or get a snack every time, maybe it's a little bit, I don't know.
The real hungry people, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't even know then. Oh, whatever. Let's move on. Well, besides the pricing, like, again, COVID here. I assume this whole mobile ordering thing, again, we never been there before.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a thing before COVID. I assume that's the reason they did it.
Yeah, I did see that was new.
Although it was cool that you could do that and very handy at times. Like, I remember us being towards the end of a ride, be like, hey, we're starving here. Put in an order real quick so we can go there after this ride. So that was handy for sure. But sometimes in the heat of it, you're like, oh, let's go eat. We got to get the app out and order it. Oh, there's no times right now. We have to wait. But if you really look at it, there's really no lines. But because of the mobile ordering, it doesn't look as busy as it actually is, I guess, because there's a lot of other people waiting on their mobile orders. So it kind of throws you off. Like when we were going to that Toy Story land, if you look at the actual lines where people were in front, when you're getting your food, there was only like 1 or 2 people in line. That's because of the mobile ordering. Mm-hmm. But I guess everywhere else, people were waiting for their stuff to be ready. So it was cool and not, but that's just COVID for you, I guess. So.
Yeah, and then also with like restaurants and stuff, like actual restaurants, forget about it. If you didn't book it, like last year, no, not that far back, but
but for the cantina,
cantina, that was So there was definitely reservation issues. If you didn't plan,
if you're a noob to Disney, especially like myself, like. You have to plan out what you're going to eat like weeks in advance, maybe even months, depending on how popular the location is. And that's not something I've ever had to think about to do. Like, I remember getting kind of excited during our last day at Animal Kingdom. I'm like, oh yeah, they got that Rainforest Cafe. Let's do that. Because we're not the most wealthiest of people, so we don't usually go to fancier places like that. But I'm like, whatever, we're at Animal Kingdom. We're already spending all this money on this vacation. Let's go. And I looked, no reservations for that day. We were early on in the day. It was lunchtime. I'm like, well, maybe we could do it for dinner. No.
Yeah.
I even joked and looked for tomorrow just to see. No. I'm like, well, what the heck? So a lot of reservation issues for Disney World, but I guess that's just how it is. And again, this is all new to me, for the most part, to Tara as well, since she hasn't done it in quite some time. So definitely something you got to plan out way in advance. And trying to plan out food in advance just seems kind of silly to me, but
yeah, there's like planning on top of planning, because like my friend, they got the annual passes, so they're like avid Disney goers.
Yeah.
So she did like give me a few tips and stuff, tipped me off about even reservations anyways.
Yeah.
Like you got to do that. And I remember one place like Chef Mickey, she was talking about like months ago, she was talking about doing it, and she's like, you just got to check the app every day. Sometimes people drop the reservations, and like it was consistently like full all the time. And like one of the things she said is sometimes you might get lucky, like people will drop it as they plan their schedule better and they don't have time for that, so you could get lucky every now and then, but don't count on it, because we didn't get to do like the cantina, for instance. We tried that one all day long trying to get it, and
I guess since you mentioned them, just a quick shout out to your friends. I mean, we won't say their names because we didn't really ask them about it, but your friends, if they are listening, thank you very much for helping us out during the Disney World trips. I mean, they as Tara mentioned, big Disney goers. They gave us a lot of tips and tricks and stuff, and were with us most of the Magic Kingdom day, which is, the big day, especially for our 2-year-old. That was the one. That's the main reason we're going, while she's free. Yeah. But yeah, your friends really helped us out, and it does not hurt that they also have. She's 3, right? She's 3, yeah. It does not. It doesn't hurt that they also had a little one, and brought a lot of joy to our kids. So they had a really good time just hanging out. Even the lines, they made the lines bearable. Let's just say, because they were just goofing off, playing peekaboo, who knows what. So that, and just their guidance for a good chunk of our experience there was very much appreciated. So just a little shout out to them. We did have to do something strange with our trip, since we did all the parks, and the parks were like filling up like crazy. We did unfortunately have to split our 4 days. We did, just me and Tara went just ourselves to Hollywood Studios, because I heard that for the most part it was mostly just adult rides, and kids can't do too much there. So me and her just went while we left our kid with
Grandma.
No, we just left her by herself in the house.
Yeah.
We just gave her some chicken nuggets and showed her how to use the microwave. Oh wait, no, it was my grandma. Yeah. Or her grandma. Jeez. Anyways, so it was me and Tara went to Hollywood one Saturday, and then like 2 weeks went by or something, right?
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2.5 weeks, whatever. And then we did the rest of the 3 days with our kid. So
yeah,
something to note. The 3 days in a row was a little rough on our feet. We got some blisters we didn't know we could get, so that was fun. Definitely wear inserts, people, because we're not like overweight. We're in decent shape, and that was still a lot.
Yeah.
So our legs were dying at the end of each day, and then to wake up super early the next day and start it all over again was a little rough, but we can get into some suggestions at the end of the cast of what we could do to help that experience. But for now, I guess the last thing I wanted to bring up, and I think you mentioned it earlier as well, this is titled, Where Was the Disney Magic?
This section? That's what you're calling it? You're saying?
Yeah. This section.
Oh, okay.
What did you have to say about that? I feel like you had some choice words.
I've always heard about how, like, the people at Disney, like, go out of their way to make sure that you're having this, like, magical experience, and they will do what they have to do to make you happy. But, like, I just didn't feel that. I don't know. And
same here.
Yeah, like, I'm a type of person that easily reads people wrong, so I could have just been reading people wrong too. But like I said, like I just didn't feel that hippity bippity boppity boo. Like,
yeah, there was what we're gonna another thing I forgot to mention. We're gonna compare this to other theme park experiences that we've had, where we had Universal passes for a long time, at least like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, a couple years.
Yeah, and so we know Universal like the back of our hand for the most part, except for the newest rides, and then we've done SeaWorld a few times. And I think even you've done some Busch Gardens in the past. But anyways, so we're going to bring some comparisons up to them. But honestly, I really didn't see any difference this park versus a Universal or versus a SeaWorld. Like, really, it's about the same. No one was really going out of the way to be extra great or anything. Like, I've heard that as well. Like, oh, man, Disney, like you said, they just do anything to make sure you're happy. If they see something wrong, they come up to you and say something or whatever. Sometimes they even let you pass the line if a kid's freaking out or something.
Yeah.
None of that happened. And again, this could be COVID, but I feel like it shouldn't be affected that much. Yeah, sure. There were some people that were very nice. There was a one lady during a very slow part of our trip who went out of her way and talked to our kid about frogs for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because she was like really interested in them, and she came out. So that was but I've seen that before at other places as well, even at Universal. So
it was a slow spot where she was at. So it was like,
yeah.
People.
Yeah.
So maybe she wanted to talk, but
and I appreciate that she did, and she
Yeah.
knew that it was a kid and whatever. Could take my kids babbling as whatever, but besides that, I mean, yeah, there's people waving and smiling, but nothing crazy. So
yeah, it wasn't magical feeling. It was just like there was a few really nice people, and then there was
people that were doing their job. Like our job. We can get into our Jungle Cruise experience later, but the lady doing the Jungle Cruise, it was, to be fair, it was almost probably one of the last few rides they did for that day. But still, if the standard is Disney has this magic, I feel like I don't know, it wasn't good. But anyways, okay. Let us move on and talk and actually rate the parks in the order that we did them.
Rate them in the order?
Yeah.
Like,
we're going to talk about each park.
Like a star rating?
Just talk about them. Okay. Like, we're going to go over the rides that we did at each park and just our overall thoughts on it.
Gotcha.
All right. Okay, so the first park that we did was Hollywood Studios. And that's the one that just me and Tara did again. Okay, so we're going to briefly just talk about the rides that we did, and then we can elaborate on certain rides that we really liked. Okay, so we did Rockin' Roller Coaster, Mickey's Railway Train, or whatever it's called. We did Toy Story. We did that twice. We did Mickey's Vacation, which was like a little movie. We did Slinky Dog Dash coaster. We did Rise of the Resistance. We did Smuggler's Run 2 times. Star Tours, and Cars. Is that about right?
Yep.
Okay. I didn't miss any.
Yeah.
We didn't do Muppets because those are stupid. And we didn't do Tower of Terror because hell no. I don't do drop rides.
I've done that one before.
Yeah, you've done that one, but
I liked it at the time. Don't YouTube it if things like that freak you out, though, because then it freaked me out, and I got inside my head, and we wrote it because Felipe didn't want to write it. That's my reason, and I'm sticking to it.
If you pushed it enough, I would have. But then when you did push it, it was a 50-minute wait. And I said, nah.
And I was like, yeah, nah.
And it was towards the end of our
right.
trip, and we were kind of tired. So, come on, let's go do Smuggler's Run again. Anyways, so you want to talk about the rides or just your overall thoughts on Hollywood Studios first?
We can talk about the rides.
Okay. These are in no order, by the way. This is the way they came to my head. So, what'd you think of the Rockin' Roller Coaster featuring Aerosmith?
I really like that one.
Yes.
That was one. You know what? I went there in middle school. I forgot about that. That was another one.
Yeah,
that
you
I went
mentioned
to
that.
School. Well, not earlier, because I said Epcot.
Oh, you said
middle
Epcot.
School.
Yeah, you're right.
But I did this one too, and that was my first roller coaster, I think. But it's dark and you don't know what you're getting into.
Yep.
And then I didn't really remember it, and I remember when we went, just when we were about to load and we saw that car take off. It was like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was no joke. I thought the Hulk took off fast. And it does, but this was pretty good. I think even faster. At least it looked like it.
It just, not being on it and watching it take off and go was like, I'm not going to be able to handle it. Oh my gosh.
I will say that the Mummy ride at Universal Studios is actually my favorite ride there. And this is very, very similar to it. And the Mummy ride, I give it a lot of credit because that's the ride that I grew a pair of balls and eventually started going on roller coasters. That was my first intro to really going into them. And that made me like them a little bit more. It made me handle the jellies in my stomach and all the feels and the speed and everything. So from there, I transitioned and started going into scarier ones like Rip Ride Rocket and even the Hulk and the Dueling Dragons and all that stuff. Because again, big Universal people. But yeah, so when I went on this ride, I was very happy. It was pretty much Mummy, except for like the parts with the mummies in the beginning, like you know the slow part of the Mummy ride. It was a lot more of the fast part, and I was really, really happy with that. That was probably my favorite ride of the day, if not really close to it with other ones that we'll talk about.
Yeah.
We did the Mickey's Railway Train.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
That's the one at the China Theater that you look like you're in a cartoon. They use like the lights, and it's like Mickey. You don't remember that one?
Yeah, I don't know. Must have not been that great. Did I walk off saying it was cool?
I don't remember what you thought.
Okay, I don't know.
Dang.
I guess that one didn't leave a impression on me.
I mean, it wasn't like an epic ride or anything. It was just really impressive the way they made everything look like a cartoon. I think they did something with the paint on everything, and I saw a lot of black lights being used, so everything was like very highlighted and stuff. However, it was the new art style that I'm not a big fan of when it comes to the Mickey cartoons. Like, they make Goofy look really creepy, and he's the conductor, so you're seeing him a lot in on the train that you're in, and he just looks like he's had a hard life with drugs. So
okay, I remember. I had to Google some pictures. Okay, yeah, it was cute.
It was a cute one. Definitely, again, I don't know who thought that art style was okay with Goofy. No. But with the exception of Goofy, it was definitely a kid ride, and it was very cool to see. And the way they had like their faces, I think it's a projector or something.
Yeah, I noticed. It's gotta be like that. Thing.
It's a new thing they're doing with the few rides that we went on, especially at Disney. I have yet to see this at Universal. So very impressive the way they made everything look. It was a really technically impressive ride. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't like puppets. It was, like you said, like a projector or something. So you got their facial expressions rather than seeing...
Yeah, just like a jaw move up and down.
Yeah.
Out of sync.
Yeah, and even like hearing that mechanical moving up and down sound, like Chuck E. Cheese or something.
Right, yeah, no, it was really cool. It was impressive.
Yeah.
From there, we did the Toy Story ride, which to me was a blast.
The
Literally.
Dog. The Slinky Dog one?
No, the one where you shoot the things.
Oh, yeah. That was fun. that one gets your hand though, because you're like bang 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 bang.
You're doing a strange movement with the can, and you're like pulling it back and forth to shoot the thing instead of pressing a button. Yeah. So it actually gets you really tired, but yeah, never mind. But that one was cool because that one was the 3D, and then it's pretty much just like a carnival style game. You're just shooting discs and getting points and stuff. And I trounced you both times. So anyways, after that, we did do the Slinky Dog Dash. That was just like a little mini coaster. I mean, that was the first one we did of the day because that's the one that apparently got super...
the lines are always long.
The line was ridiculous, yeah. And even though that was the first one we did that day, it was still very long. Yeah. But, hey, it was a little coaster and it was fun. It was a good way to wake up because we were there. Yeah, it was alright. Yeah, it was alright. Let's see. We watched a little short, Mickey's Vacation. It was fine. It was using that art style that I'm not a fan of, so it was a little more adult, and then not adult, but just a little more graphic. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like Mickey Mouse to me. Like everything's a little more violent. It reminded me more of Tom and Jerry than it did of Mickey Mouse. But I guess I never really saw the old Mickey Mouses too much, so I don't know.
But like talking about it with our friends though, apparently there was supposed to be some stuff going on with it. Like the seats were supposed to move and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what they were saying. Like, I don't know. There was like one part.
I didn't catch that conversation. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was that one though, that there was supposed to be like a little bit more to the experience rather than just watching a movie. And
I guess that makes sense.
So I don't know if we just got sat in a weird spot or what, but we didn't have what they were talking about.
Okay. We did do Smuggler's Run. What'd you think of that one?
I like that one.
Yeah, me too. I was the pilot.
Yeah, we got
the Millennium freaking Falcon, so
yeah, you get to be a part
Chewbacca?
of it.
Yeah.
And that was cool interactions. You get to be a part of it, and it was nice the second time too when it was just us, because
yeah, we got to be silly.
We got to be goofy.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Gorge. Anyways, so yeah, that was fun. We did do the Star Tours. You said you liked that one.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, I like that one.
That one reminded me a lot of this old ride. I think it was something with like Arctic or something, Antarctic, at SeaWorld. And to me, that was probably one of the worst rides I've ever been on, because it made me feel so dizzy by the time you get off of it. Like during it and off of it. And keep in mind, I go on roller coasters. I do all this other stuff. I do the motion ones. I did Back to the Future, Simpsons, all that stuff. Anything with motion I can handle. But for some reason, this ride, I can't do it. And this is the exact same setup, just with Star Wars. Much more interesting, for sure, than Antarctic for me. I really liked what I was seeing on the screen, but just the motion of it, I just couldn't. It honestly gave me a headache for the rest of the day. And that sucked. It went away. It went less as the day went, but I still had it. It was still annoying.
Yeah, that's wild, because like for me, like I said, like I liked it, and I know the SeaWorld one you're talking about, that one gets me.
Yeah.
But this one I was fine. I don't know. Maybe it was my Dramamine.
Oh yeah, you do take Dramamines before the park.
I don't know.
Maybe I need to do it before the next one. We did do the Cars because we were trying to find stuff to do, because I guess we didn't really talk about it. Well, we could talk about it a little bit more later, but Hollywood, not too much to do there from what we saw, at least with what was there, because a lot of COVID had closed a lot of stuff. There was like a Indiana Jones experience thing show and some other shows and a launch bay and all that stuff. All this stuff was closed. So like, let's go do Cars. I thought it was going to be just, like a 3D thing or something. No, you just sit in a bench and what was really cool, again, that projection stuff. Lightning McQueen did come out on stage live.
Yeah,
and
it looked like a real car with a real face.
Yeah, man, they did such a good job. I'm sure they have the LCD screens like on the eyes to give him the emotions, but yeah, they did that projector thing on his face, and he looked just like the movie. Like he was right there, like moving, and the way the animatronics, like the Imagineers or whatever they call them at Disney World, they did a fantastic job emoting him, like, rising up on one wheel and all that stuff whenever he's talking, just like a human does. So he was there talking. He's like, all right, let's turn around and let's go on this simulator. I'm like, well, this is like in simulatorception. Like, we're in a simulator already. You're going whatever. So it was for the kids. So the kids were clapping. They were having a good time. They sat us at a weird spot towards the back of it, like away from everybody. I don't know. It was weird, but I guess because we were just two people and they really want the kids to have the best experience. I would do the same thing, but still.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have been a little closer, but whatever. Probably the worst ride there.
Yeah.
Besides the one that made me sick.
But if you're a fan, there was some fans that were in there.
I mean, Cars is huge, even though it's huge. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then the big one was Rise of the Resistance.
Oh my goodness.
Before we talk about this ride, this was one of the tips that we were told about, and thankfully someone told us about this. Your friends, specifically. You have to make a reservation for this ride, and you only have 2 chances to do it. And this, you don't have to do ahead of time. You have to do it that day.
Yeah, so it's not really a reservation. It's just joining the virtual queue.
Yeah, but that queue goes away, no joke, probably in 15 seconds.
Yeah. Easily.
And the times that you have to do it is 7 a.m. and 1.
Yeah, so
that's it. If you miss your chance, you miss probably what everyone says is the best ride at Disney World. We'll talk about that in a bit, but that's it. So that was crazy. And in the morning, you woke up, and at the time, we had a weird issue where you can only load the app with your stuff, and I couldn't pull up my stuff. So you were the only one that was able to try it out in the morning. And you failed.
Listen. Listen. It wasn't like a test or anything, but like even waking up early, because I've heard of people talking about, oh yeah, I woke up at like 6:30 and like I was ready for it. You don't need to wake up early for it. You just have to, I mean, maybe wake up like 5 minutes before, whatever, but minutes. Be awake and be ready
have
to
that
like,
app open.
Yeah, have your app open and be ready to click join and select your party and then click join again, all without thinking about it.
Yeah.
At exactly 7 o'clock. As soon as your clock hits 7 o'clock, do it.
Yeah.
Because you still might miss it.
Yep, as you did. So then that was kind of a bummer to start our day, but we're like, well, whatever. Maybe we'll get stuck with, or maybe we can get lucky at 1. I honestly didn't think we were going to do it because I heard it was just really hard. Even your friends who go there frequently, they said they've only been able to do it like once or twice, right? Or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and they go there a lot. So, yeah. That was
But I mean, like, it's so, the anxiety you get from it is crazy.
So what your friend also brought up to do is like, hey, have Felipe download the app and log into your account. If he can't pull up his, log into yours, so that way you have 2 people trying, like 2 accounts open trying to get it. And that's exactly what I did. And yes, the anxiety was racking up because first of all, when 1 was hitting, we were on our second time into Toy Story Land, or the Toy Story ride. Mania, I think it's called. I'm not really sure. And also, we were literally like people away from
loading on the ride.
And it's like 12:58, and those last 2 minutes felt like 30 minutes because we're getting so close to loading. Like, it's our turn. And
so
you don't know.
That,
yeah, we're watching that and we're moving in line. And not only that, like 5 minutes beforehand, you heard the shift of everyone in line, like, show us the Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
my butt is big. I don't know.
What? No, not all that.
Hey, I heard some things.
But listen.
Anyways, but yeah, you heard the shift in tone of everybody. Everyone's, whatever in the line talking, and then just everything just changed. Everyone's whipping out their phones. I'm like, oh my God, we're in this sea of people also trying to do what we're trying to do. Because I was hoping, like I said, if we weren't told about this, we wouldn't have known. I was hoping they were not told about this, but apparently everyone on Earth was. So, like, our anxiety is racking up. My heart's pounding. And apparently...
I was shaking. My heart was, like, really pounding. I feel like the anxiety... Whenever I talk about this, like, the anxiety comes back up again, and I get all excited, but not a good excitement. It's just a... Oh my God, like, I have to tell you this so that you know. Yeah. So when it's your turn, you are on it because you're going to miss it.
And thankfully, I got in.
Yeah, because my phone said, like, error or something.
Yeah, well, again, because we were both using the same account. So I'm sure, honestly, if it wasn't, I'm sure you would have got in at the time. But, yeah, dude, it was crazy. And I was so happy when I got in. And then, what were you saying? Was someone else in line?
Yeah, like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like shaking, and I look over to my right, and this other girl was talking to her mom, and she's like, I just can't believe that we got in. And like, she's visibly shaking. I'm like, I'm visibly shaking. We're all shaking. This is the anxiety that Disney gives you.
Yeah.
Like, what?
So yeah, so then we got into the queue, and we were able to go a couple hours after that. And they gave us a time, so that was cool. Yeah, even though they gave us a time, though, we still had to wait a decent amount of time in line.
Well, they don't give you a time. They give you like a group number. Yeah, like a window.
A group number, and then they have a window that accepts these groups or something like that.
Yeah, so it's like groups 1 through 26, and
yeah.
So it took hours before it was our group number.
Right. So then we finally go. And keep in mind, beforehand, your friends have told us this. I have read this online. I've seen the message boards. Yo, Rise of the Resistance. It's the best ride. It's the best thing since sliced bread.
It's the experience.
It's the experience. This is the best when it comes to theme parks. So hearing all that, obviously gets our hopes up to a certain point and gets our expectations up. Those were not met. No. Keep in mind, I believe COVID had a lot to do with this. Mm-hmm. Okay? So, Rise of the Resistance, I guess What I did like about it is I love the length of the ride. One of the worst things that I hate about certain theme parks rides is you can wait in a line for so long and you get on the ride and it's over in like 2-3 minutes. Yeah. That sucks. Like I remember like the Gringotts ride when that was opening up at Universal. I'm like, oh, here's Harry Potter, here's the new one. And I love the other Harry Potter ride at Island so much that I'm like, yes, here we go. And the line when we got in was 2 hours and 45 minutes. I said, let's do it. We get on that ride. We did it. We got on that ride, and 2 minutes and 20 seconds later, we're off of it. I'm like, well, that was cool.
Yeah, like I don't know, with all those waits and stuff, like that was a constant 75 to 90 minute wait, like for a long time. And I feel like
I never went on it again. Now that we did it, we did not go on it unless it was under 30.
That's what I'm saying. Like I hate that feeling of feeling like a ride is not worth the time. Yeah. Like now, but there's a lot of rates like that. Everything should be worth the time.
You're at a theme park. Everything should be, blowing your mind, and when that sucks. Anyways, I was very happy with the length of the ride. Yes. I think the whole experience was like between 15 to 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. Like, because it's not just a ride; it's like a multi-part deal. I'm sure you guys can. We don't have to get into too much details, but we will bring up how COVID kind of ruined the experience. And the Disney magic kind of missing with certain people in the ride as well. So, how did it start? It was
that one room.
Yeah. Okay. So they had, because of like the social distancing and everything, they had like plexiglass everywhere, and they had like circles, which apparently they removed entirely the next day.
Literally the next day.
Which, come on. But anyways, yeah, they had like these circles. Like, all right, you guys, our party was the green circle, and you guys go on the blue, all that stuff. And you have to sit in that area of the room. And depending on where you sit, you might not see everything in that room because there's glass dividers. And not only that, like the plexiglass dividers, like they kind of obscure your view a little bit. So there was like a scene where Rey shows up on a hologram or something, but away from us. So I kind of had to like bend the rules a little bit and like try to walk away from the plexiglass so I can kind of see it, but I didn't want to be too obvious what I was doing because I didn't want to get yelled at. And okay, sure, that didn't hurt my experience too much in there, but then we had to go outside, and then we had to go in this ship that was supposed to transport us somewhere, right? And that's where the biggest damage was done, I think, because of the due to COVID. Again, the dots again. And this one, you have to like, hey, hang out here and hang on to the railing. And then inside there was like animatronics, and I could not see them from where you and me were standing.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that, and then there was like screens and stuff, because we're supposed to look like we're like flying off in space. And the little bit that I did see of the animatronic, some dude piloting the ship that we're on, it was very impressive. Like definitely impressive, like animatronics just with that dude himself and everything. And I will say that when that ride was over and it opened, I think we were like captured by what do they call it? The Star Killers. So we go into one of the bases or whatever. I don't know Star Wars that much. I'm a fan of Star Wars, but I'm not a huge nerd. Like I don't have all the stuff, whatever. I've seen the movies and I like the newer ones or whatever a lot. It was really impressive though when they did open those doors, and I'm like, oh yeah, it honestly did look like we moved somewhere else, and even though we were probably in the same spot, it just, the motion and everything did feel legit. And then it opened, all of a sudden we're in the Star Killer, or whatever, the ship, and it's like the very highly reflective floors and just everything just straight out of the movie. You see a lineup of all the stormtroopers there staring at you. Did you say you might have seen one of them move or anything?
Like their head moved, so it was like, I don't know that all of them were real, but
no, definitely a lot of them were fake, but
yeah. But it was definitely a neat feeling for a second there, cause like
yeah, we're like, oh, but then like not much else happened. They're like, all right, keep moving.
It was silent, so it was like, oh, this is cool. What's gonna happen next? So like my heart kind of dropped because I did get that feeling like, ooh, we're in trouble now. Like yeah. There's bad guys that got us, but then it was just kind of awkward because then it was like you said, we're being scooted along going to the next thing. So then
that little area should have had like a little thing where, yeah, obviously you're not gonna have 30 plus people in suit all lined up perfectly every single time someone goes through the ride. But have them be like on a pedestal or something that makes them move slightly, so they don't look like it's just mannequins standing there.
Yeah.
You just have them just move a little bit, like a little breathing or something, and then have like 2 or 3 people that are actors there. So like when you come into that area, you can have one of the Imperial officers or whatever be like, B-46, escort these guys or something. Have one of them removed from the line and take you or something.
Yeah.
But it was just very still. So it's kind of weird. And again, that might have been a COVID thing. Maybe you can't have all these people right next to each other for the ride. Whatever. Then we go into this next area, and there was like one person that was really in character, and he was doing a solid job, but the rest of the people weren't.
Yeah.
But he sounded just like the people from the movies. He had like the weird accent or whatever, and he was doing a good job. The other ones weren't.
It was just like confusing because I didn't know like how much of it was the acting of how those characters would be versus like what was COVID and like how people are so serious about like following rules and restrictions and things. So it was like a weird mix, just taking away from the experience. And I don't know, it just made me want to be a character or an actor or something for it.
You would take it seriously.
Because I would want to, like I want to do more because I don't want people to feel ripped off. Like I felt like we were ripped off.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I've heard of great experiences. Like our friends themselves, they were like, one of our friends wasn't like standing straight, and the person like, hey, face forward, move, like they would in the movies, and he's like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
So none of that happened here. So whatever. And then our last part of the ride was like a cart that you go in and it shifts around, and it was neat. It had some really cool effects, but there was like this one room where the big showpiece was this AT-AT, and that's it. Nothing happened in that whole room. We just heard, because you're in the middle of a war, you hear stuff outside, but the AT-AT didn't move. Nothing was moving. We were just going through its legs, and that's it. I'm like, is COVID affecting us here, or is this just the ride? I'm like, okay, let's move on. And then we see some cool stuff. Stuff's blasting. We get to see Kylo and one of the Weasleys, whatever his name is in the movies, Commander or something. Probably, I don't know. But whatever. The guy that does Bill Weasley, I think, from Harry Potter movies. He was there. They're animatronics, but when you have Kylo Ren there, you can't tell because it's a guy in a suit versus an actual human. They try to do. So it was cool.
That was
You
fun.
were impressed with one of the effects they did, though, right?
Oh, the thing through the roof?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the thing?
Was it Kylo's thing?
Yeah, but what's the
Lightsaber.
thing? Okay.
I wanted to make sure we were talking about the same thing because I vaguely remember it. I just wanted so much more. But yeah, that was really cool. Like at one point he's like cutting into the ceiling, and I don't know. I try to look for how did they do that.
I always do that in the rides.
Yeah, and I couldn't find it. It looked like a seamless cut.
Yeah,
like,
I'm the person in the rides that I know everything's fake, so I'm just appreciative. Like, man, how did they do this effect? And I'm always looking for strings. I'm always looking for like the arm that's holding up the puppet or whatever, like the mechanical arm, not the actual human arm. Like in the Mummy, you can see the arm that holds up the mummy when he comes out of the thing. He's like, eternity or whatever.
Because I was like looking too, like where's the trap door that's following the cut?
And I could not find it.
It's being folded back or something, and I couldn't.
I think I still know how they did the effect, and if that's what they did, freaking genius. But I'll tell you later. But yeah, I couldn't tell. Like usually, like when there's like a break or something in a ride or something, you can see where the seam is, where they have to break it and put it back and whatever.
Yeah.
I could not see where this lightsaber was following. Like I couldn't tell. It looked so good. So I was like, all right, that's cool. And then the animatronics for Kylo, when we see him again, he was cool. But that's it. Like
I feel like it ended abruptly.
Yeah, it kind of ended suddenly, and though COVID had a big deal with it. But ultimately, unfortunately, this ride was way overhyped for us. And it was a great ride. I recommend everyone doing it. It was a great time. I would love to do it again years from now, far away from COVID. Hopefully they weeded out some of the terrible actors, and I could do it again. And I would love to see what the experience is like then. But this experience we had was not good. Was not amazing. It was good. It was a fun ride. I had a good time. It wasn't the worst ride we did. It wasn't the best. I still think Smuggler's Run and the Rockin' Roller Coaster was the best.
Yeah, for all the hype and then the anxiety of joining that virtual queue, like, meh, if we don't get it next time, it's alright. But, like, I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say.
About what? About the ride?
Yeah, about the ride. Okay. The experience, I guess. I don't know. I had an idea, but I was
That's alright. That's okay. Okay, so we can move on. We're spending a long time on that one. Overall thoughts on Hollywood Studios?
I know what I was going to say. Can I say it?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Just that if you are a true Star Wars fan, I think there's so much to appreciate, and I think there's like a lot of like details that they like got right and on point. And like you mentioned, we're not super fans, but we do appreciate the movies and even like stuff like this when they bring it to life. Like,
yeah. Oh man, I was so excited.
We appreciate that and all the hard work that goes into it. It's just like the overall experience. I feel like I just wanted more from it, and I feel like we could have. You
were so close.
Yeah, so close, and it's weird that we're able to talk about things that would have been better. Yeah. Like, you should have blown my mind. You should have known better and done better for this.
Yeah, like this is your chance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, back to my overall, whatever. I feel like without Star Wars, Hollywood Studios is nothing.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes sense. I mean, when I did go in middle school, it was for a chorus trip. We went, we sang, and then we got the rest of the day to play.
You sang.
I was in chorus. And then we sang and we did our stuff, and then we got to go play, and then it was probably like 6 o'clock when we left. And thinking now, before we went to Hollywood this time, I feel like that's a short day at a theme park.
Yeah,
but now
since you had actual duties to do, not just the whole time.
And we didn't have that much time to like play and stuff. But like after going again recently, I'm like, all right, I guess that's all you needed. And back then there wasn't Star Wars, so I did everything. And I don't know. I just feel like if it wasn't for Star Wars now, it's not much. It should be like a lesser priced park.
Yeah, but it is not. However, speaking of the Star Wars, the Galaxy's Edge area, I think, is masterfully done. They had such commitment there with everything. Like, the freaking Coke bottles had, I don't know Star Wars that much, but it was just written in a very Star Warsy way. It was like its own language or of wherever Galaxy's Edge is even located.
Like when you go to another country or how they have like Coke around the world, it fit. It was theirs.
Yeah, it was their own thing. It was in a different bottle. Everything, even the gift shops themselves, like they had the font and everything in a way where it spells out gift shop, but from a distance it just looks like random language. And as you get closer, they just had such, like, everyone was on it. Like everything was really well done there. I think better than anything I've seen anywhere else. And I'm a huge Universal fan. Of Harry Potter area, of both Hogsmeade and then what's the other one, Diagon Alley. I think this is even better than that. When it comes to all the little details and the commitment to it, all the shops, everything.
Do you think their milk drinks are the Harry Potter butter beers? Like, you gotta have it. You gotta crave it all the time. Just like
it's the butterbeer trounces the milk by a mile. However, the milk is still fun, and I will say the blue one is the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we try to be different, because we're not going to probably go for a very long time if we go again. And I'm like, I get the blue one, and I'll get the green one. Blue is the way to go.
Yeah, go blue, but definitely try it.
Yeah, it was still fun. If you have someone else get the green, it still wasn't bad. It wasn't what I was expecting, so it was very good. And again, just everything was great.
What about the lightsaber stuff?
Yeah. That is the part that really sucked with Hollywood Studios. Again, not knowing. You have to make a reservation like months and months and months in advance to build a freaking lightsaber. Keep in mind, these lightsabers aren't cheap. They start at $220. And so many people are dying to get one. Why can't Disney open up one more area? Because I know it can't be a big building. From what I saw from the building, it's not that big. open up one more.
Yeah.
Have another dude play the same part, the same role or whatever. Because I know it's some guy that's supposed to like, oh, here's the area, whatever. Choose your destiny. Which one of these handles you want. So it's some dude hamming up everything as you would in Star Wars, and you get to choose the handle, the blade, the color, the crystal, all that stuff. So you get to the switcher and everything, and you get to build your own, and then it's one of the high quality lightsabers that actually look nice in the dark. It's not those cheap ones that you fling to have it extend out. So and I couldn't get one, and that was like the thing I was really looking forward to. Like, again, not even a huge fan, but I'm willing to pay $220 to get my own freaking lightsaber.
Yeah.
So I want one. And Justin Timberlake was there, and he
Yeah.
was able to get one, and I bet you he didn't have a reservation.
Yeah, and for his kid.
Yeah, for his kid. That was cool, having a celebrity there at the park, but I didn't get to see him. Anyways, yeah, so that was going back to the thing earlier of our complaints. Like, you need a reservation for everything, and way in advance. For a joke, I looked for the rest of the week. I know we weren't going to come back. I looked for next month. I looked for the month after. And I looked for a month after. And every single day was booked. I'm like, are you kidding me? So, very, very disappointed. But, I mean, that's what it is.
Yep.
I could have built a droid if I wanted to. I don't know. I didn't check. I didn't want to, but
yeah, it was kind of cool how you could choose their sound and stuff.
Yeah, that was neat.
Cool. So we got to play with that at least.
Yeah, there was because I was looking at the shop where you build the droid, and I'm looking at everything. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I mean, ultimately, it's just 3 versions, and you just choose the colors. But yeah, once I heard you can choose the sound, and then I heard that they're actually all remote control, so they can actually move. I'm like, oh, that makes it worth it. I think, especially if you're a huge, huge fan. But I just wanted the lightsaber. But okay, so anything else? Final thoughts on Hollywood? Like you said, yeah, I call it. I have it written down here, aka Star Wars Land, because that's the big thing.
Yeah.
Without it, I don't think
That's
it's worth
all
going.
you need.
I don't think you need to go to Hollywood Studios. A fun roller coaster and Toy Story isn't going to save it. You definitely need Star Wars there to make that place worth it, and especially if you're a huge fan. I mean, must do. The fact that your brother hasn't done it is a shame on humanity. So he's got to go one day. Anyways, so let's move on. We then took a break and came back a few weeks later. This time bringing our kiddo.
Yeah.
And we started out the day with Magic Kingdom. Here are the rides we did. We did Peter Pan, Winnie the Pooh, Small World, Thunder Mountain, Little Mermaid, People Mover, Walt Disney's Carousel of Tomorrow, or something like that.
No, it's like Prince Charming's.
No. The rotating thing, the show.
Oh, it is like
Innovation or technology or something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Sorry.
We did the horse carousel, which was the Prince Charming one. Magic carpets. We did Dumbo. Goofy's coaster, which was called the Barnstormer, if I'm not mistaken. We did Space Mountain. We did Buzz Lightyear, Space Ranger. We did the Haunted Mansion, Jungle Cruise, Pirates of the Caribbean, and the Speedway. Tomorrowland Speedway is what it was called. I wanted, just side note, we did want to do the minecart. We did want to do the riverboat. I wouldn't have mind doing Tom Sawyer. And I was interested in the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse, but we didn't know that was a thing to the end of the day, and our feet were just not going to allow us, and neither was our stroller and our child.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That was really...
And then the rest we just didn't get to do. Minecart never dropped below 50 minutes. And the riverboat, the one opportunity we could, our kid was asleep, and we couldn't take our strollers. I wasn't going to wake up my kid. So, and the Tom Sawyer thing, I just never looked too much into it because it was another deal. We had to... The opportunity we had, our kid was asleep. Mm-hmm. Okay? So this is the big one. This is Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
This is the one with Cinderella's castle. This is the one everyone shows. What did you think overall on Magic Kingdom?
Overall? Then we do the overall at the end.
You're right. All right, so let's talk about the rides that we did. We can go through them quick because as you saw, there was a lot of stuff that we did that day. This is the day we did the most rides on. So we can get some of them out the way. Stop me if you want to just mention something that you really liked about them. But I can just kind of get maybe the kids' ones out the way.
Okay.
Because there's not too much to say. Like Peter Pan, kid ride. You're on a boat. You go through Peter Pan, and that's it. It's a very, I can tell it was an older ride.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was very true to the cartoon.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Obviously, they all are, but
right, yeah.
the details and everything was cute.
Yeah, it was good. Winnie the Pooh, whatever. If you're a Winnie the Pooh fan, you got to see Winnie the Pooh. Okay. Small World is the one everyone says is one of those rides. Is like it's annoying, but you have to do it.
Yeah.
It's a staple, And we almost did it, but our friends, like I asked them, and you can tell they didn't want to go on it, but they were like, "You got to do it." And I'm like, "All right, I heard this from everyone else," so we did it, and it was it was fine. It was just
they have updated.
It's a looping song like the whole time.
Yeah.
Switch it up. Like I told you, it's a ride about the cultures and everything, and you go through areas and there's like mixed cultures, and then you just go a different area with different cultures. Have the song in the beginning, branch out to something different, or at least something in tune with the song, but have it match the cultures, and at the end have the big chorus of "It's a Small World," because you just went through the world. In reality, as you saw, everything looks the same because we're all the same. That's the message they're trying to go, and everything we have different cultures, but ultimately everyone's, whatever.
It would be cool too if they even did the song in the different languages.
Oh yeah, see that right there.
Because it's
but still change it though, because it's the same exact tune and pitch and the whole time.
You said too though, with maybe how that different culture would sound. Like if there was some Mexican stuff or whatever, they could add the salsa sounds and stuff like that. They could have done a little bit more with that to switch it up, but still keep it.
So moving on from that, we did Thunder Mountain, which I thought was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's a little coaster there, and how did we do that one? Did we have to child swap? Did you go on it twice or something?
No, we didn't do the child swap. Our friends watched the little.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, and that was fun because it was a long wait, but only because it's a long way to get there. We were walking the whole time, which was fun. So, anyways, that was a really good ride. I really liked that one. Little Mermaid, another kid ride, but I think was done a little better than Peter Pan and Winnie the Pooh. But it was there, so cool. We did the People Mover, which is just like a little tour thing. And that one was impressively long because, like I said, I like them long rides. We got on there, and it went through a lot of the park and through different areas. Well, I'm sorry, not a lot of the park, but a lot of that section, which was the Tomorrowland section.
Yeah.
And it was nice. It was like 7 to 10 minutes or something like that. It was nice and long, and just to cruise. It was fun.
It was good, but I do like that you could fit a lot of people in those carts, but there's definitely a good side and a bad side to sit on. When you load it, because if you're sitting on the side where you are going backwards, I feel like you miss a lot, and you got to turn your head because then you'll see the backside of everything.
Right.
Or after we've already passed it, whereas on the other side you see us coming up on everything. So.
Yeah, I think for that ride never had too much of a wait. At one point it was 25 minutes.
But if you wanted a shot of the castle, you had to be sitting on the side that was going forward to it.
Yeah, that's the side I was on. Luda. Anyways, we did that carousel of innovation technology or whatever it was called. Crap, I should have pulled that up. Whatever. That one was not what I thought it was. I read it wrong, and I thought it was going to be like a history of Walt Disney and how he got into animation and all that. So that's why I was excited about it. But then I got there, and it wasn't that at all. It was just how technology has evolved over the ages and stuff. It was a weird show, but it was fine. It was neat to see old stuff, and it was some guy talking, and you get to see his kids and stuff. It was cool the way everything turned, though.
Yeah, I feel like they need to add one more section or something, though, because even from the last time that technology changed, technology has changed so much more since then.
Yeah, they have the area that's supposed to be now, and only one of the things is correct or kind of correct. So they definitely got to update that a little bit. But whatever, we did it.
It was 90s now, 2000s. Maybe.
Yeah, when they thought what the future was gonna look like and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we did the magic carpets. That one we did for our kid.
Yeah.
We found out that day she does not like heights.
Yeah, no.
Especially if you're not in a safe long boat. If you're just in a cramped space with daddy, she's not gonna have a good time if we go up high on the carpets, because it's like Dumbo. If you guys have seen the ride, and
it's like a fair ride.
Yeah, it's like a fair ride. So
the flying airplanes at the fair.
She was giving me hell during that.
She didn't like the carousel either. She just doesn't like those ones that you go around in a
Yeah.
circle.
Towards the end of the carousel, she was getting it, and towards the end of Magic Carpets, I'm gonna repeat the story with Dumbo. We also did Dumbo, which is the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping that Magic Carpets she would like it more. I don't know. Oh no, we did that one first, and then we did Dumbo. But no, she hated it each time. And at the end of each one, she was kind of stopped when I stopped bouncing it because I was trying to have fun too, but she hated it. So I eventually just left it, and I was like, all right. Once it was kind of like no crazy movement, she was kind of like still not loving it, but quiet, not crying at least. But yeah, it was not fun for her. Goofy's coaster, we did that while she was asleep. We took turns with your sister and me and stuff, and you and me. Just a quick ride. If you've done Woody Woodpecker's coasters, same thing.
Yep.
Just even shorter, somehow. We did the Space Mountain. That one was really fun.
Yeah.
That was another indoor coaster, but I felt like I was gonna get decapitated a lot in that ride.
Yeah, don't put your arms up in that ride.
Do not put shoot, I'd love to see how many people. Well, I wouldn't love to, but I'd like to see the stats on how many people have gotten hurt in that ride because it's supposed to be dark and it's supposed to trick you. You're in space. It was very impressive how they did it, but like I said, I always love looking for stuff.
Yeah,
I love doing that. It's just what I do. And during a lot of the times when I would go under tunnels and tracks, I could reach up and touch it, like if I really wanted to. So I felt so unsafe during some of it where I had to like kind of duck my head down. I think even in the picture my head's kind of like slouched between my shoulders because I was like, I don't want to get killed today, not during Disney. And
you even asked our friend like who's taller than you.
Yeah, I'm like have you died? So
I would like to like Google how that one looks with the lights on. Like I want to see the track.
Yeah,
which is wild because the People Mover goes through it, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
And that was cool.
Yeah, it was neat. Yeah, that was the cool thing about the People Mover. It goes into different. I think it was like a restaurant at one point, and then like a couple rides. It just cuts in like, hey.
But like, what I'm saying, like seeing that with the lights on and see how close the People Mover is actually close to it too.
Oh yeah,
like that might be scary.
It's crazy. Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger. What do you think of that one?
That was kind of like the one
supposed to be Men in Black.
Yeah. I was gonna say low budget Men in Black.
I thought it was I thought it was one of the dumbest rides.
Yeah.
I love Toy Story, and coming off of the other Toy Story Mania ride, I was really excited about this one. I'm like, oh, Men in Black and this, because the other ride's kind of the same. You're shooting stuff. Nothing moved.
Yeah.
There was no interaction. Like, I think you told me at one point that you can spin it, or was that something else?
I think it was that one. I realized you could spin
halfway through it, but my kid wasn't having it. She was okay, but I think at one point, like, the lights were freaking her out, and she just, like, put her head on my lap, like, I don't know about this one.
It was just, like, because it's that weird laser, so you don't really know what you're shooting at anyways. But
it's
even,
just, like, a little laser pointer, and it's not even that good, because it, like, goes off after, like, a second. You have to keep pressing it to see it come up back, light up.
I mean,
it was not a good ride. To me. This is the comparison was to Men in Black. I'm like... It's in a league of its own, that Men in Black.
Like Men in Black, I feel like I'm shooting something, and I feel like I can tell when I'm on target. Whereas this
there's
one,
like a reaction. This one's just like, all right.
I'm like,
you can see like the score rising, but that's it. You don't hear anything. Yeah. So whatever. To me, very old and needs to be seriously outdated, and that ride has the potential to be. Yeah, it needs to be updated. Has the potential to be really cool, and it's not right now. Haunted Mansion.
I really like that one.
That one was fun.
They did change that one too, and I think it was because of COVID. I think, as far as I know, but I know that is one of the ones I remember doing as a little kid. And when you like first walk in that room, I don't know if they like do something to where they make you feel like you're dropping or something. I don't remember exactly, but I remember the lights go completely black, and it's really like scary in the beginning. So, I don't know. I was told that was changed because of COVID, so I don't know if they try to, like, speed up things so there's less...
Yeah, I think you mentioned that during the
because they don't want to keep you in that small room for the intro or something.
Maybe, yeah.
But otherwise, like, I like it, but seeing those, like, moo-moos, or I call monsters moo-moos, but the ghosts... No, the ghosts, they're actually kind of scary, some of them.
Yeah, I was actually worried about my kid, but I'm like, whatever, we're at Disney, she's going.
And she doesn't really know scary.
Yeah, she doesn't, we haven't introduced her to anything scary, so I don't even know if she knows what a ghost is.
Yeah, I mean, like a loud noise, obviously.
Right.
Sounds scary, but
yeah, during the ride, she was fine. She hated the carpets double more than Haunted Mansion, so you tell me.
Yeah.
She wasn't super happy. I would try to make it like a fun thing, because I knew she's curious about what's going on, and it is kind of like
it's
cautious, and it's dark, and she's seeing these things floating and loud noises and stuff. So I'd be like, oh, there'd be like this creepy cat. Look at the kitty. There'd be like this half dead dog. Look at the doggy over there. So I'd be trying to make something out of nothing, at least nothing for like normal people, and trying to give her a good time, and she was fine with it.
Yeah, see all the dead crows on the things. Look at the birdie.
Yeah, we did do the Jungle Cruise at the very end. Yeah. That was the main reason I wanted to do it is because the freaking Dwayne Johnson movie that's coming out with Emily Blunt.
You can say it, The Rock.
The Rock. Yeah. I'm like, whatever. They're making a movie out of it. While I'm here at Disney, let's see what the ride's like and see if I can catch any references to the ride during the movie, because I'm gonna watch the movie. And like we mentioned earlier, that lady, I heard we had a busted mic, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
So our mic was bad. So 60% of what that lady said, I could barely understand.
Yeah.
And again, I know it's supposed to be like cheesy jokes and everything. I couldn't even hear them. And even then, there's a way to make cheesy jokes even funny. And she couldn't even do that. There's a way to like ham it up and like pretend like you're telling this great joke, and it's not supposed to be. But she was just blah. Like I said,
it was definitely a script, and she was sticking to it.
Yeah, and she had no fun with it, and
I don't know. I've seen Goofy done better, like hammy Goofy jokes. I said, like
even
it was
at
corny.
Universal, which is not known for having the magic. I've seen, especially at the Men in Black ride, I've seen some really funny people there, like at the little intro sequence. So it's like, where was that here? So whatever. Jungle Cruise was fine. There was nothing really special about it. We go through a boat. Our kid loves the boat rides, so she was excited, but
it was nighttime though.
It was nighttime, and you couldn't really see the stuff. So whatever. Moving on, Pirates of the Caribbean. I got another boat ride. Kid was good in it. I heard Jack Sparrow's everywhere. I saw him maybe twice.
Yeah, I think
maybe 3 times at most, but whatever.
It was because it was the Pirates of the Caribbean before the big Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Yeah, and they just
it was an easy tie-in to just toss them in every now and then, here and there.
Yeah, it's fine. And the last one was the Tomorrowland Speedway, which was just like a little go-kart thing you can go on. My kid was just tall enough to go, so we did that, and she had a great time. She loved it. She was crying because we had to go off of it, so there was that. Yeah, I didn't mention how she was during the other rides, the kid rides, but they're moving rides. She learned to, like, towards the end of our Disney, she knew that at the end of the line to get super excited for the rides, because she knew that we're going to go on something and she's going to see stuff. In the beginning, she like hated the lines and stuff, but she learned, and
having our friend definitely helped with the littles. Like we mentioned. So
okay, so Magic Kingdom. What did you think of Magic Kingdom overall?
It was great for the kiddies because they got to. It was nice to do that with a friend, and have our littles have that special memory, and all the stuff to have the memories for her, like, it was great.
Yeah, we took plenty of pictures.
Being the parent, I feel like I wanted more magic.
Yeah.
For it. And then another thing ruined by COVID is the whole big thing is the night fireworks and the night castle show, and we didn't get that.
Right.
And I feel like they could have at least done
The projection.
On the castle. Like, they just had castle lights, but, you know, they didn't have the Tinkerbell projection, or even just Elsa's castle, I think, is the new thing that she freezes the castle and it looks like hers with the projection. So the castle, you know, you see it in the daytime at Cinderella Castle, but now with Frozen, it's Elsa's castle through the projection stuff, and they could have at least given us that.
Yeah, just have some music play or whatever. Another thing I wanted to mention was the characters. Our kid has been into Mickey Mouse Clubhouse like no one's business this past 5-6 months. And she's really been getting into Disney now that we have the Disney Plus, and she's really taking advantage of watching all the Moanas, watching all the Elsas, Finding Nemo as of recent, and of course Mickey Mouse. So she knows all those people's names because they say the names at the beginning of every single episode.
Call.
Yeah, the roll call. So she knows everybody, you know, the main ones. Where were they? They didn't. We went to Magic Kingdom. Did we see Mickey? If we did, that one thing, yeah. There was like a bus, like a double decker bus that flew by, and Mickey and Minnie were on it. But there was like grates and stuff in it, like a fence, like it was fenced in. It was I don't know.
It was like, what's it called? Their Calvarades
or something like that. Yeah, they replaced the part where you can walk up to somebody and take a picture. Of course, I knew that was going to be a thing, but I didn't think there was going to be so hard to find these characters. I mean, at one point when we went to Hollywood Studios, we actually saw Mickey and Minnie walking through like a little parade on the ground. Mm-hmm. Well, I think Mickey was in the car, but whatever. It was still fun. Pluto was dancing, Mickey was dancing, Chip and Dale were out there doing their thing. And I got video of that, and I showed my kid, and she was like really excited about it. She wanted me to play the video over and over again because she was seeing these things in real life, you know, like in real world. So I was like, oh man, Disney's gonna be great. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
At least on Magic Kingdom. We'll talk about other parks, but
they were supposed to be, I guess, every 15 minutes, and they're like they said, the Calvary thing.
That's at the very entrance of the park.
Yeah.
And when we're out there, you know, doing rides and all the attractions and visiting all the locations they have, we can't keep going back to the beginning of the park to be there. I mean, we eventually did. We figured out, all right, the day's almost done and we haven't seen anybody. Like, we got to see the princesses twice.
Yeah, we saw them twice. That was fun,
but it was
the drummers even twice.
The drummers even twice, yeah.
But the main guys.
And then Mickey and Minnie, we caught the tail end of it because I didn't even know they were passing by. There was like some bears or something. I don't even know from what cartoon. There were some bears like waving. I'm like, all right, well, here's somebody. They're kind of ugly looking bears, but whatever.
They were like the country bears.
Yeah, something like that. But whatever. My kid was happy to see something cartoonish in real life, and she was actually very happy to see him, and she was like waving back and stuff. And then, all of a sudden, like, I look up and the bus is passing in front of us. I was like, oh, had I known, I would have gotten the camera ready. I would have told our kid to expect it. And no, we just caught the tail end of it.
Yeah.
And then she was so mad, like she was starting to cry because she couldn't, like she was so excited to see them, but it was over just as quick as it came.
Yeah.
I will say though, when it comes to the Disney magic, at one point when you and your sister were getting that delicious Dole Whip.
Dole Whip, oh yeah.
Yeah, we gotta bring that up in a bit. But while you guys were getting that,
Chip and Dale.
Yeah, Chip and Dale were out. Above. You couldn't like walk up to them, but they were up like on a second floor, waving at everybody, and that was Disney magic at its finest.
Yeah.
The only Disney, like real Disney magic I saw, because there was a lot of kids there, or a lot of people there, but at one point, the crowd continued on with their day. They were still up there, but since we were just waiting, we were there, and our kid was just there, and she was like waving at them, and they were waving at her, and she was just big old smile on her face. Like, that's what I wanted to see all day.
Yeah, more of that.
More of that with different characters. And Chip and Dale, she don't even say their names. Like, they don't come that often on the. They're not part of the roll call, But I'm sure she recognized them, and again, something cute in real life.
Paying attention to her.
That was paying
waving
attention
at her.
and everything. And then at one point, I'm like, all right, we got to give other kids a good time because they were like really playing specifically with her. So I move her out the way, like kind of underneath them, but like not still under, like enough out of their eyesight. One or two of them like peeked over the balcony and was still playing peekaboo with her.
That's
cute. She that was magic.
Yeah, that was good.
That's what I wanted the whole day, and I only got that for those 10 minutes or whatever. So something worth mention. Yeah. Very disappointed that we didn't see more characters. The Disney princesses, yeah, she was in awe when she saw them all. She didn't know what to do, and almost all of them that were at least on her side, because they walk in like a little cavalry parade, whatever. They waved at her and kisses
they all
and
did
whatnot,
the kisses
and
at
she,
her and waved specifically to her. So
Yeah.
yes, okay, there was some Disney magic.
Right.
With the people that should definitely have some Disney magic, but the workers still give me a hi ho or something.
Yeah. Hi ho.
Bippity boppity boo.
Yeah, that Dole Whip was the bee's knees.
Yeah.
You got the Kakamora one, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was that? What was the taste on that?
That was coconut Dole Whip, and then blue. I don't know how to say it. Keiko. It's usually I don't know how to say it. It's usually like in like alcohol drinks to give it that blue color, but it's not alcoholic, obviously. And then pineapple juice.
Okay.
And then a chocolate cake pop that is decorated like a Kakamora from Moana.
And then I had the pineapple one, just plain, because I heard that's the the one that kind of started it all.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. So I wanted the OG. Both delicious. We eventually had the Peter Pan one.
The Peter Pan one, though.
Ooh,
yeah.
that's the lime one. Get the Peter Pan one. Y'all sleeping on that one. It come with the red chocolate feather.
Yeah, and it's it's a float.
I didn't need that, but you
it's a
did
float,
get it in the
so,
float, which made it even better.
Yeah, so it's the lime Dole Whip on top of Sprite. It's very refreshing.
Cool.
Trying to think, were there other snacks that we had at Disney?
Yeah, I was trying to think. What was the souvenirs that we got?
Souvenirs from Disney. Because we usually, whenever we go places, we usually cave into the souvenir cups or souvenir whatevers.
Hollywood Studios, I got the BB-8
Oh, right.
cup, and then we also got the claw with the little alien from Toy Story, and it was like lit up and stuff, and it's in the cup, so that was fun. I gotta make another one of those icy this time. I'll get like a Powerade or something, or a Mountain Dew or something, and make it with like crushed ice. I want to do that again.
Yeah, I don't think we have any more snacks.
I don't think we got an actual souvenir cup from there. We have other souvenir stuff, but
from other places next day.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll think of it later.
Yeah.
All right, so that was our experience with Magic Kingdom. All right, so the next place that we did, the next park we did was Epcot. All right?
Mm-hmm.
This is considered the least important one or the least fun one that people like. That's what I hear. They're like, oh, you can skip Epcot. That's what I've heard. Unless you're a heavy drinker, then you can do that drinks around the world or whatever. But I am not that way.
Yeah, so you were ready to skip it.
I was ready to skip it. Anyways, but we heard that Frozen was there. So we're like, all right, that's the one ride for our kid who doesn't stop singing Into the Unknown.
Oh, and Nemo.
Well, that Nemo thing, when we were making the Disney trip, she hadn't even gotten into Nemo at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Once I only found out about the Nemo thing like a couple days prior. I'm like, oh, Nemo's gonna be there. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's all she's freaking watching these days. So, anyways, here are the rides that we did. It's a short list.
Well, Epcot was one that I wanted to do just because, like, archaeologist in me.
Yeah.
Like, I like culture stuff.
Of course, and so do I. But
I feel like we didn't really touch that on this trip, though.
Not as much as we could have, and honestly, a lot of it had to do also with COVID.
Yeah.
So, here's what we did. We did Nemo and Friends. We did that twice. We did Frozen Ever After twice. We did the little Mexican river ride. I forgot what it's called, but it's like Adventure with Tres Amigos or something. We did the test track.
Yeah.
Or what was it?
I was going to call them, I don't know for sure if that's, it sounds right, the caballeros.
Caballeros.
Sí, señor.
Okay. También.
I don't know if that's their
I know,
cartoon.
huh? Anyways, I'm Mexican. I can say that. We did the test track. We did. I forgot what the ride was called, but it was like Imagination with Figment.
Oh,
that's what I have written down here. And we did Living the Land. And that's it. That's all the rides that we did. Oh wait, hold on. Oh crap, I forgot. We did that ball.
Yeah.
What was that one called? Journey to
Ball.
Destination Space or something.
I don't know.
The main ride at Epcot, where the giant golf ball looking thing is. The ride underneath that. Ah, crap. It was like Destination Journey to Space. Whatever. Something like that. We did that one too. And that was it. Now, of course, we did all the countries. We went to every single one of them. We didn't go inside. And I think there's like supposed to be a show or a little presentation for every single country. Mm-hmm. We did not do that, especially with the kid. We're not going to have a chance to do that. Thankfully, she was... Wait, how long was she? Was this the one? No, it was the Animal Kingdom. She was asleep in a lot.
Epcot, she got ripped off for her nap. She slept about 15 minutes.
Yeah, then we had to pull her off the stroller for the food because our food was ready, and then they didn't allow strollers in there or something stupid.
Yeah, all the restaurants don't allow strollers. That's a thing to keep in mind. So, in my head, I'm like, oh, nap time will be our lunchtime. It'll be good.
Nope. No. See that cute kid there sleeping? Pick her up.
Yep.
And go eat. So, anyways, yeah, all right. I guess let's talk about that. Nemo and Friends. What did you think about Nemo and Friends?
That was really good. Because, like you said, she got into Nemo, like, days ago. Not days ago, but a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So, it was still, like, new to her. So, it was really exciting. So, that was a fun one to, like, watch her get excited for.
By far, her favorite ride in all of Disney was this. It was the best thing to be next to her during this ride. She was pointing out everything, saying, I mean, she only knows Nemo and Dory. Really. Yeah. But, just pointing out the sharks. She was saying sishies for fishies, jellyfish, all that stuff. She was just...
And the turtles.
Man, let me tell you about these turtles. She loves turtles. Anyways, huge hit with our 2-year-old, okay? And not only was the ride good itself, it was just another slow-moving ride, but, it was a little more updated than the other ones. It mixed the screens with real stuff, which is what I like in rides when they do that. After that, they put you onto an aquarium. And who is the first one you see in the aquarium? You see freaking Dory right there swimming around in the tank. And then shortly after that, you see all the clownfish. So,
yeah, and the sea anemones.
Yeah, all that stuff. You see everything. And that mind blown she was there. The ride kept going. Dory! Like, kept pointing at it. Nemo. All that stuff. And then, like, we just keep seeing all these fishes. And we knew we were going to come back to the aquarium because I heard the aquarium was really big and it's going to take a lot of time to do that. Looking back at it, it wasn't as big as you would think, and a good chunk of that area was closed off due to COVID. There was
much was closed.
Yeah, there's like a shark area where you can take a picture in Bruce's mouth, and then like apparently there's stuff happening there. Couldn't go into it because it was closed off. There was turtle talk with Crush, and like apparently it's like a live Q&A, and I think there's someone doing an impression or a puppet or something, and he's like answering questions. I get that one because, well, whatever, it still should have been open. And there was like another area, a whole bunch of areas were closed. I'm like, man, this place could have been really, really cool, and it still was, but it could have been a lot cooler. But we left before we saw all the aquariums. We did circle back to it later. What did you think of the aquariums there?
In the Nemo areas, right?
In the Nemo area. Yeah. That's the only aquariums there was, right?
Yeah, I'm getting mixed up with
the Animal Kingdom.
Yeah. No, I thought they were really good. They were aquariums. It was awesome.
I think there could have been more fish or more variety, because the aquarium was kind of cool because it was, it was 2 stories, so you go up top and you see the giant tanks, and then like you can go through a tunnel between the same tank, and then it leads you to a little circle area that has like one division there. But I don't know. There was some cool stuff for sure. Like, one thing I forgot to mention with Disney World in general, they put a lot of Mickeys everywhere throughout the park. And even in the aquarium, you got to see, like, I think it was made out of like shells or rocks or something. There's just like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Like, the little circles with the ears and everything. So that was fun to see. Just to find all those was cool. We got to see some sharks, some weird looking fish, and everything. The rays, all that stuff. So
that white starfish was cool.
That big one, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a lot of cool stuff. I liked it, but having been to SeaWorld, it's nothing.
Well, you can't compare it to
No,
SeaWorld.
I know, but I hear Disney's this best place on earth or whatever, so I would assume that at least, although I wasn't expecting as much, I was expecting at least some really, really cool stuff, and it was cool. Not really, really cool. Okay. There's that. We did circle back and do that later, but we left, and then after that, this isn't in order, but we did do the Mexican River ride.
I like that one. I remember liking that one in middle school too.
Same. Yeah, I'm like, oh, this is my home.
That one though, I really hope eventually they do the Coco for it.
Yeah, you got other places changing the theme based on the movie, like that Norway. I heard Norway was just a little Viking thing.
It was like Vikings and like trolls and stuff. Like I remember I rode that before.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember. But now, of course, they replaced that with Frozen, and now it's a huge hit. Do the same thing with this. Yeah. Add Coco to it. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. Well, no, just change the whole thing to Coco.
But if that's what was true, what our friend was talking about is that was in the plans to change it for Coco.
Yeah, and then something happened. What did you say the reason was for that?
COVID.
Oh,
like they just never like finished with their plans and stuff. But like you said too, like the music in Mexico was Coco. It was the soundtrack.
Yeah.
When you walk in and you're waiting in line, you're looking at Coco animation stuff.
Right, all the little display areas and stuff.
And models and things like that.
A little gift shop. It's riddled with some Coco stuff too, so.
It's like everything is there. Just do it. Finish.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like it wouldn't be too hard. I feel like they could even use a lot of the same decorations. Like, how they sprinkle Jack Sparrow. Like, take out the Amigos, make it a different story. Obviously, make it the Coco story, but a lot of the set that's already there, they could use. It's that colorful, dark, I don't know how to pronounce it. Dia de los Muertos and stuff.
Dia de los Muertos.
You got it. It's just so much better when you say it.
I know, right? Anyways, we did Imagination with Figment. It was fine. It was better than I thought it was going to be. I had really low expectations.
Yeah, it's... Okay.
It was very old.
It was old. It was definitely 80s, like, stuff. Like, Honey, I Shrunk the Audience... Or not audience, kids. Honey, I Blew Up the Kids guy. Mm-hmm. I guess he was mentioned, but he wasn't the guy that was...
He had a picture of him.
Yeah.
Next to Robin Williams with the flubber, and then the main guy from this. And I've seen him before, I just can't think of what.
Yeah, he's always in stuff, and you see him, and you know him, but you don't know him. But it was weird. It was okay. It seems like it's got a following, like a weird following. Like when we were out in the gift shop, I was like, do people actually know who this is? Is this a thing? And then
I saw some shirts.
Yeah, there was some shirts, and then there was people that were even walking around with like the little Figment critter like on their shoulder too.
Oh, I didn't know
so
that.
It's a thing. Like I saw it, but I don't know. It's not my thing.
It's got to be a movie. Yeah, that's good. It's a thing, not my thing. Yeah, it was fine. Kid liked it. She was like, oh.
Yeah, she liked it. It just cracked me up. Like, we're at the souvenir store, and there was, like, that whole big family that was like, oh, this is so cute. Let's get this. And, like, the kids wanted that toy. Like, I feel like I want an Elsa doll.
Right.
Like, what? Kids want this? I don't know.
I never heard of this figure until that day. Yeah. So I was like, okay. But then, I did. Now that I did the ride, I did notice people with the shirts and... You said you saw the critter. That's neat. It's like, okay, cool. I mean, hey, more power to you guys. I was just happy to see, what was the name of it from Flubber? The little Weemo or something?
Weemo. You said it.
Weebo?
You knew it. And it was right, whatever you said.
I cheated because I saw the name. And I was like, oh, that's...
I was impressed. I was like, oh, yeah, he was right.
Close.
You got it.
I forgot already, though. But anyways.
Yeah.
And the last thing we did was Living the Land. It was just like another little boat ride again.
With
Happy
the
for the kid. Yeah, with the plants.
Yeah.
And it started out... here we go. But then we got to the area with the greenhouse. And again, this is just plants. But there was some neat stuff. Like there was the area with the fishes. And of course, my kid loved the fishes. Mm-hmm. So she was happy there. And then
they sprinkled some of the Mickeys in there too.
Yeah, some Mickeys hidden in the bushes and plants and roses and stuff. And then they had like a neat way of growing plants. Like there's like moving stuff. So whatever. It was a informational ride. It was fine for what it was. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, we didn't have to wait very long. It said it was 10 minutes. It wasn't even that.
That's the one that we were when we were eating, right?
Yeah, it was one of them places.
And then we're like, oh, hey, this is here. Let's do it.
I did want to do Soaring the Land, I think it's called. That ride was never below 50 minutes, and our kid wasn't allowed to go on it, so it was very hard to go on that, so we never did it.
Yeah, my dad mentioned that one, and he said that him and my mom went on that one. And he was like, yeah, you didn't get to do that? That was like one of our favorites. We went on it a few times.
I heard it was really good, so I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. Okay, and then of course we just did all the countries.
Yeah.
Any standout countries that you really liked? Like, you know, going to any cultural place is always going to be fun, but anything that really kind of stood out?
Norway was neat because that was where Frozen was.
Oh yeah, I didn't talk about Frozen.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Whoops. Yeah, we did the Frozen ride.
Oh, that one, it like gave me tingles because that was like as a mommy, like going on with your kid. Like I just watched her like the whole time and stuff.
Yeah.
So like it was fun to like be with her, watching her like be on this ride, watching Frozen and seeing her girls. Oh my gosh! And when Elsa lets you go and you go backwards, it was just like emotional. Oh my gosh. So that was nice.
No, they nailed that section. They were like, you know, when you got the build up, like all the music's building up to her saying, "Let it go," and like the music hits, and then like
you go backwards.
We get hit, you know. We move back with it. So
she lets you go, and it works.
So, anyways, it was cool.
So Norway.
It was a boat ride, but they did a boat ride right. They did a little section. Sorry.
No.
They did a little section where, like you saw, we actually moved back and we had like a small
there was
dip,
a drop.
like a little drop. I mean, you know, kid friendly.
But it was that's what was really cool about it. Like it was definitely like it was a controlled drop, and it was going backwards controlled. Like so, you still had those movements that a bigger ride would have, or you know, but it was for kids, and they could still do it too.
Okay.
So that was cool.
Back to your Norway.
Back to Norway.
You really want to talk about Norway? Go ahead.
Yeah, but there's another country I like better than Norway too. But I do like that Norway did all the Frozen stuff. So they had Elsa. So that was cool. She got to see Elsa.
Yes. So we didn't get to see too many characters. Oh, that's one thing I did forget to mention. Right off the back in Epcot, who was there?
Mickey and Minnie.
Exactly. Like, finally. So she did get to see her Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah.
Not up close as we would want, you know.
But they were over the hedges.
But they were over the hedges. And, oh, crap. Did you take pictures? I'm sure you did, but she probably wasn't looking at us, right? She was just staring at these.
Yeah, I took the kind of picture.
Idols.
Yeah, I took the picture of, like, behind her head where she's, like, pointing at them. And then I did, like, a quick little snippet video of her, like, pointing to them and, like, panning over to who she's pointing at.
I just can't believe that all of Magic Kingdom happened. We didn't see them. And then the park that I was like, oh, maybe we should skip it. I know that's going to happen. It starts out with them. I'm like, oh, come on. But very happy she got to see them both. So that was cool. But anyways, yes. So not only did she get to see Mickey and Minnie, she got to see freaking Elsa. Yeah. And it was like the girl, dressed as her and stuff. And she was in the Norway section. So, yeah, that was great, and she loved it. I mean, she was like, Elsa. Yeah, she's just saying her name over and over again like it's going to change something. Yeah. But, yeah, man, she got to see it, and I was very happy for it.
And then, And then I liked how they had the sisters. Like, I guess I don't think this is a thing that's always there. Like, right now it's the Flower and Garden Festival.
Oh, yes.
So there's a lot of really pretty landscaping. Well, I mean, Epcot's beautiful landscaping anyways, but, like, now they have, like, the statued things. I don't think that they normally have those. I don't know. Do they?
It would seem like empty areas if they weren't there. I mean,
okay,
that makes
maybe.
sense. No, that makes sense because there was a ton of freaking flowers. Like, that's one of the things I was going to bring up a little bit more towards the end. But we pretty much named all the rides, so we can kind of talk about this now. But very bad impression after Mickey and Minnie of how everything was, because there's, like, a lot of construction going on. And, again, we can't help that.
Oh, yeah, I was going to mention that, too.
We can't help that's happening, but still, like, everything's boarded up. I'm like, man, this is kind of junky looking.
Yeah,
But
and it made it confusing.
Yeah, it was very confusing. And then we leave that area, and now I was like, yeah, that was like the best looking park, like aesthetically.
Yeah.
Obviously, Magic Kingdom is very in the theme and everything. Everything's whimsical and all that stuff. But man, the flowers and the sights, and man, now that you mention that, like, oh man, I really hope it looks like that all the time. I know there's probably a little bit more to it because of the flower festival or whatever. What did you say it was called?
The Flower and Garden.
Yeah. If it's only for that, I'm sad because that should be a year round. Like, well, I don't know how flowers work, but it was very pretty. And again, back with the Mickeys, there's Mickeys hidden in the flowers, like, you know, made out of flowers in the background and stuff. Just in areas you're not even looking.
Yeah.
I will say though that even though there was a lot of construction going on, they did have a little bit of fun with it when it comes to the butterfly wings.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that too.
Yeah.
So that was something. Well, that's, I don't know, we had fun with those. Like, because I was gonna say, even with all the like nasty looking panels and stuff, they had really beautiful like painted. I think they were painted butterflies. That the kind that you can go walk up to, so it looks like your butterfly wings. So we had some fun taking pictures with those.
Yeah.
So we got some good pictures with butterflies.
That's the thing you always see those influencers doing, like, on social media, and then like you see like that one funny Instagram page, the influencers in the wild. You can see like them posting all artsy and stuff, and then you just see the line of people waiting to do the exact same thing. So it was funny that they had these throughout the park. I'm like, oh, follow me on TikTok or whatever. So, but yeah, it was funny that they had them. So at least they were able to do that for some of it. They even have like a little area, like mini butterfly wings and little like bat wings and horns and stuff that you could stand in front of and all that stuff. So that was at least you could do with all that construction going on.
Yeah, and then I like, when we were talking about the countries, I also like Japan. Yeah. I was there, and we actually got some snacks in Japan too.
Yeah, because we were kind of going through the day, and we realized we kind of mostly did most of the rides, and we're like, well, this place is about cultures and different foods and stuff. And you brought up, oh, there's frushi, right?
Frushi.
Fruit
sushi.
Can you describe what that was?
It was like fruit sushi. Like, there was no... Shut up. No, there was like no like fish in it. Like sushi, but it had like... I don't know what kind of like wrapper it was, but it was the consistency of like a sushi wrap, seaweed almost, but it wasn't. But there was still rice in it, but then there was fruit pieces in it. And then they, instead of your wasabi and your soy sauce, they had some whipped cream and some kind of fruity sauce with it. So that was a yummy snack.
That's the only sushi I like, 'cause I hate seafood. Sadly. And
then you got some, what was it?
Yeah, I got some fancy pork shank from in that area as well while you were there. I'm like, well, you know what? Let me splurge a little bit, because it wasn't that much, and it was pretty good. I'm not a big soy sauce fan, so I knew going in it was gonna be a soy glaze, you know, as the marinade. I'm like, whatever, that pork looks good, and even I liked it. So there's that. Yeah,
it was really yummy. Like, to me, it reminded me of like the Filipino dish, chicken adobo. Okay. I guess pork, you could do it with that too. So like you said, the soy sauce, like Asian, that's big in my family. So that was a yummy one to me. It was just similar to that, and I liked it. And the one thing that was kind of strange to me though was the that one big room that we went to. That had a bunch of different, like, I guess to go along with the Flower and Garden Festival was like a taste of something different, like weird snacks and stuff. But when I think snack, I think like some kind of like the frushi and stuff, or like something different like that. But I don't know. It was just a weird spot.
Yeah, we might have gone during like a weird hour or something. Because your friend was like, oh, let's go to this spot because they always got really good snacks here. I'm like, all right, here we go. We get there, and it's just this giant auditorium, very underlit. So keep in mind, our kids love that area.
Because they could run around.
They could run around. There was not that many people there. I tried one of the snacks there because I'm like, well, I'm here. I mean, we came all this way. and I wasn't too impressed with it. I accidentally read it wrong. I thought it was gonna be like an actual burger with slider, whatever. And then it wasn't the best thing. But yeah, it just seemed like a big, huge waste of space. You could have fit all that stuff in under half the size of that room.
Mm-hmm.
So, but whatever. It was there, and like I said, we might have gone during a weird time, maybe because there was like a grand piano in the center of it, and I did see in the app that there was supposed to be like a really good pianist. Say that right? Without sounding weird. Pianist.
It's a weird word. It's gonna sound weird.
That does a good show and stuff. So I'm sure it packs up during her show times, and then maybe it's more popping in there. But when we went, it was pretty dead.
Yeah.
Anything else that you liked? Any other cultures?
I mean, they're like what you would think.
Got the basic stuff.
Towards the end, though, like when we're trying to go to, did we talk about all the rides?
Yeah, we did.
Did we talk about Test Track?
Oh crap! No, man, I screwed up, huh?
Because that reminded me. Because when I got,
I teased it in the beginning. I'll tell you about my ride later.
But okay, hold on.
Almost forgot.
Really quick, just let me throw this in. So on our way to Test Track, because we did that later on in the night, like closer to closing, and I got my little orange bird drink. I was so excited for it because the orange bird is something. I think that's what it's called, the orange bird. Now I'm gonna sound dumb giving my little
It's like
fun
exclusive
fact.
to Florida, if I'm not mistaken,
like,
right?
it's, let me make sure. Now I'm like not for sure. The orange bird though, but they made it. Disney made it for the Florida, like, what do you call them? Mascot for Disney.
Okay. Right.
So it was like the special, Orange Bird is a character created by Disney for the Florida Citrus Commission as a mascot. What I just said.
Okay.
So they made that especially for it. So that's like special. Like Florida has its own thing made by Disney.
Right.
And then they had this like citrusy smoothie thing that came in a little Orange Bird souvenir cup. And back to our souvenir things. That was something cool.
Yeah, it was well done.
Cute.
It was nice. It was well made.
It was super cute, and of course our littles wanted a sip, and I had to give them some and share my smoothie.
Jerks! Come on.
Mama gets something fun, and they gotta have something too.
Go play in your auditorium.
But and so Test Track.
So Test Track. So I finally get to go on it after skipping it in 6th grade. That's a fun ride.
What do you think? Okay.
I like that one. It was. Had I known now what it is,
You would have tripped your 6th grade self?
Yeah, I would have smacked myself in the head like, hey, man, this is a good time. Now, I don't know how I would have handled it because I still wasn't the best with speed, but I only felt that little feeling you get in your stomach, which I hated for the longest time. A very mild version of it when we hit that top speed at the very end when it kind of like dipped a little bit.
Yeah. Besides
that, I mean, I think I could have even handled that then.
But
I wouldn't have known I was a scaredy cat. Yeah. There was a lot. It was called Test Track, so there was parts where you're just being shoved back and forth and like, oh, test the slippery. So it makes it feel like you're slipping on a road, but it's just for like a second. But go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's changed. It's been updated because back when your 6-year-old self or 6th grade self would have gone on it. It was like you were a test dummy. So you remember those like old car commercials, buckle your safety belt or whatever, and those goofy looking dummies? It had those in there, and like that was the theme of it. And whereas now, I don't know if you like would have built your own car then, but that's what this was supposed to be. Like you're building your car, and that's why they're testing everything and making sure. And
making sure it's ready.
Yeah, and before COVID, that was something COVID messed up. Apparently you could have actually designed your car. Yeah,
there was like a whole room that you could have like choose your color and shape and all that stuff, but it was disabled. Like they had a couple screens on, but the touch wasn't working. It was just like playing in loop.
Yeah.
Certain things. So.
But
whatever. But the ride was fun.
I think Rockin' Roller Coaster was faster.
Oh no, it was.
So the speed thing, yeah.
It just was cool.
Fast. And it was loud.
Cool that you
could get outside.
You went outside and it was very loud. But yeah, that was fun. Just quick little things. Yeah, I liked Japan as well. Mexico was fun. It was fun to hear the music and the smells were great. Just fun photo op opportunities at the place that I wish we could take more advantage of, but Our kid was
Yeah,
not having
like,
the best of times that day because again her nap was really destroyed. So
but I do like that they had all those pretty landscaping statue things.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like we saw Snow White, Beauty and the Beast,
Toy
Buzz.
Story.
Was it Buzz Lightyear or Woody?
It was Woody and Bo,
Bo
Peep.
Peep.
Yeah.
And
Donald,
Goofy,
Daisy,
Donald, I don't know, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
and they were just really cool looking.
They were well done and it was nice.
And Ratatouille's to come.
Yeah, I wish I could have done that right. I know for some reason you have no soul and don't like the Ratatouille movie, but
it's just not good.
anyone can cook. All right. Anyways, closing thoughts on Epcot?
I liked it.
Yeah, me too. I liked it more than I thought I was going to. I'm happy we did it.
Yeah, I wish I don't know. Not that, I don't know. That one opened later, so we got there later. So that was kind of a nice for, like, if you were going to give tips to someone, like with littles, and you're going to be spending some time there, I would say Epcot is a good second day one, just to kind of give yourself that break since they open later. Okay. And we got to have, like, a normal breakfast that day, too.
Yeah, that was nice.
So that was nice.
That was very nice.
Yeah.
It does look like there is some cool things in the works. One of the friends that were helping us out that day, they were saying that they're making a Guardians of the Galaxy ride there. We saw that area where Tron was being built, and that looks like it's gonna be a crazy kind of coaster looking. Yeah, it's got to be a roller coaster the way it looks. Like, I'm sure you'll be on a bike or whatever, but you're definitely going upside down at one point because that's the part that was being worked on. And I mean, there is a ton of other construction, so there's got to be a lot of good stuff in the works. So I think in the future that place is going to get even better.
Yeah.
So cool. Mm-hmm. Now, moving on to Animal Kingdom. This was the one that I personally was most excited about. I haven't been to a zoo in a very long time. And I like animals and I like zoos. I don't know, I haven't got a chance to go in a long time, and I know my kid loves animals. So I was really excited about this.
Yeah, my kid loves animals too.
Yours one does too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. My kid's better. Anyways, here are the rides that we did. We did Tough to Be a Bug, or It's Tough to Be a Bug. Dinosaur. Flight of Passage, which is the Pandora one, the Avatar one. Navi River Journey. Expedition Everest. The Kilimanjaro Safari Tour. We went to the Rafiki's Island, and that had the petting zoo. I think it was called the Affection Station or something like that. And then it also had like the invertebrates area. There was like bugs and like some frogs and stuff. Then we went on a couple like self-guided tours. We did the gorillas tours, which had, you know, more than just gorillas, other stuff there. And then we did one with tigers. And then of course throughout the park there was, you know, animals spread out. There's like, oh, here's some otters, here's some monkeys, here's some different kind of monkeys, here's some birds. Here's a kangaroo that we saw at the last second losing his mind, flying around. Like, and it's hard to get a picture of him because he was crazy. And then the moment we get our cameras out, he disappears.
Yeah, it was like one of those things you see it and like you think you're lying.
Yeah, I told like, you, look at the kangaroo, and you looked around, you're like, what? And you kept looking, you're like, oh.
And then Alex is like, what?
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's start with the big ones that everyone talks about. Pandora. This is the galaxy's edge of this park.
But you don't need to do any kind of crazy join a virtual queue.
Yeah,
and
thank goodness.
You just got to get there and go and be like the first people there.
Yeah. So, we have a child, and our child cannot go on Flight of Passage. So we did child swap for the first time.
Well, I think they call it rider swap there. I don't know if that's like a thing specific to like a Universal. Like we always saw like rooms and things that said child swap specifically, but I feel like at the Disney area there's this rider swap is what I saw.
I didn't catch that, but okay, that makes sense. Well, so we did that. So I let you and your sister go. That was the very first ride we did that day. I heard that ride packs on like crazy and it stays, you know, hours throughout the whole day. So we're like, let's get this out the way because we got there kind of early. Somehow they let the doors open before the park officially opened because I couldn't even see wait times on the app.
No, that's how we did Magic Kingdom too. Is because the bus.
Right. Yeah, the bus took us. Yeah. Also, a huge thanks for our friends who gave us the opportunity to go into their resort that they were staying at and take the transportation to go into the bus. It's something we forgot to mention earlier. But because of that, we got there before they opened, and then they let everyone in. So we went directly to Pandora's, and it was 25 minutes or something like that. Oh God, thank God. Because like later in the day, it was like 75 and higher.
Yeah, all day.
Yeah. So, anyways, so I let you and your sister go on, and I hung out, with our kid, and it was still early. She was still kind of in a doozy mood or whatever you. Dazed, the loopy mood, yeah. And she was fine. So I was taking around and seeing all the, because Pandora is very beautiful. There's a lot of like weird, obviously real flowers and a lot of fake ones too, but everything just looks otherworldly. So there's a lot of fun stuff to see while you guys were on the ride. And we're just looking around at the plants and birds and pigeons and stuff. She's having a blast seeing them. So anyways, so you guys go and do that, and then you come out. You're like, boo. This is a good ride. I forgot how you said it. You're like,
I tried not to hype it up, but I guess you took it as I was hyping it up. Because I know,
said
okay,
it was
so.
Great, and you said that you cried.
No, okay, listen.
Or you were tearing up or something.
Okay,
like
listen.
That. Okay.
So.
I'm listening.
Felipe is the type of person that doesn't like any kind of spoilers for
anything. I hate spoilers. Don't spoil anything.
So, like, I've learned to, like, just not hype things up, or I try not to, but apparently I hyped this one up for him. So, not, like, hyping it up, like, I don't know, just try not to tell too many details so that he goes in with a premeditated idea of what could happen.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But apparently I gave you that. So, sorry about that.
It's okay. Keep in mind, you're not the only one. A lot of people said this is the best ride. Your friend saying it was like one of the best rides also. I've read it everywhere. This is like the ride up until Rise of the Resistance. This was the best ride at the park. And then Rise of the Resistance came out. Everyone lost their marbles of that. All right. So then you come back out and we swap. This time, I didn't have the idea of taking you with me. I didn't know we could do that.
Yeah.
We found that out later. That you... Since we had 3 people, you, me, and your sister, technically you could have gone twice in that ride with me the second time, but we didn't figure that out till later. So, anyways, I went by myself. However, with the way the rider swap worked in this location, it didn't take you through the normal areas that you do on the line, and there's some cool stuff to see in the line. Like you get to see sorry, I'm burping a lot. You get to see the avatars themselves and like the tanks and stuff, and you get to see like all the research locations from the movie. And when I went to the rider swap, I didn't get to see any of that, like none of it. Like they took me to like a weird area where it's like all hallways and it's just like concrete walls.
That's crazy. That's not even like how other rider swaps worked. Like
I know.
At least got to see a little bit.
Yeah, it was really strange. It was definitely quick, and I was able to go on the ride almost immediately. Like I literally. The way it took me was right before, like, they say, how many? All right, okay. Go on here. That's exactly where it took me. So, and thankfully there was no one, so I didn't feel, like, mean, like I was cutting everybody. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of people, like, talking about how was the... On the way there, on the outside area, I was next to people in line, but then once I got in, I didn't see anything. And I can hear the discussion, man. I was so freaking cool cutting everybody. Get out of my way, you... nerds, whatever. Anyway, so I got to the front and I got to go on the ride. It was very... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so that's just something like a lesson learned that we learned, like with rider swap. I would say have the person who doesn't really care too much about the ride go second. So like you should have gone before my sister or something.
Right, yeah, because I'm a bigger fan of the movie than I think you are, and especially.
I mean, like I appreciate it. I feel like more than my sister did, but I couldn't. There was definitely stuff that I don't know what it's called, and I would have liked to like talk to you about it or whatever. But like I can't do that now, and really I can't tell you about what I saw because I don't know what I saw.
You don't know it
other
enough.
Than it was pretty and it was cool, and then because it was only a 25-minute wait, it was one of those lines and waits that it's that 25 minutes, a big part of it is just like walking to get through to it. There wasn't a lot of standing time. So anytime that I did actually try to take a picture, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, I wonder if he's going to even get to go through this. Because just other places I've seen, you kind of skip that too. So I tried to take pictures, but it was only so quick that I had to do it because it was mostly walking.
The 2-second video you got was very entertaining.
Was it even 2 seconds?
Yeah, if anything.
But I did get a picture of the one main avatar and the thing. So, anyways.
So I get to go on the ride, and I think I had a little bit of a technical difficulty because it did take a while for it to start. So it was very neat the way they did it. You like kind of go on something that I would closely describe to like a motorcycle pose, kind of, and then it like. Whatever, you can look up videos online. Maybe I'll post some pictures of what it's supposed to look like. Because you're on the back of the... Yeah, you're supposed to be on the back of the freaking dragon thing that you connect with, and you make him like your ride, and like your steed or whatever. And that's part of the movie. And that was one of the coolest sequences is him, taming one, like kind of breaking it in, like as you would like a horse in the wild or whatever.
So you trust each other.
Yeah, you trust each other. You build a relationship as you're falling to your death. So I was like really excited about this ride because I heard it was like virtual reality and all that stuff and simulated. And I get in it and it was really cool because it's like the stuff closes up on your back and then you hear like the way they described it, they're like, all right, we're gonna connect to your neural networks and we're gonna buzz in through your back and whatever. So then you hear like. Zzz, and then like some stuff blow like maybe it's air or like it feels like little zaps are zapping your stomach and then like your back and then like up towards your upper back, so it's like stuff's being connected to you even though it's probably just air or something, but they timed it perfectly with like the sound, so it felt legit. I was like, oh, what's going on here? I like this. Giggity. And anyways.
Did you look down at the monitor?
Yeah, I was looking down and it was like taking a picture of your face, but of course I had my mask on, so it didn't look as cool. Yeah, so without the mask it would have looked cooler.
But you saw how it like changed you into the avatar?
Kinda. I was thinking that. So that's what was going on? Oh, okay. I wish the mask wasn't there because I would have seen it a little bit better. Oh, darn it.
I mean, like, I don't know if it was like made to you specifically because there was like a glare and whatever, but like
I'm sure there's like a general face
like,
shape,
a female or looking one, and whatever.
Yeah, that was cool. So anyways, I think after that it was kind of stuck for a second, and I was just kind of like waiting. I'm like, all right, when is this gonna start? It was just like a solid minute of just nothing after those cool zaps, and then I finally heard the lady like, okay, sorry about that, guys, we're gonna get going now. I'm like, oh, okay. So I was like, all right. So that kind of built up. And then it opened up. And then I was there. And I will say this. I feel like I'm flying through the air a lot more in the Forbidden Journey ride. Or is that what it's called? Forbidden Journey? Harry Potter's Forbidden... The one at Islands of Adventure, I think it's called Forbidden Journey with Harry Potter. I feel like I'm zipping through the air a lot more in that than I do in this ride. So I was a little let down in that because this would have been awesome if I had the exact same feelings as I do in Harry Potter here. However, the screen was fantastic. Like visually, it's probably the crispest 3D screen I've seen when it comes to theme parks. And the 3D, everything was great with like the glasses and everything. Like everything was cool. I had to pull down my mask so I couldn't.
Do you remember what row you sat in?
I did sit at the very, very end, so I was not centered.
And it was still a crisp view?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Okay.
Again, the crisp, I want to say it's like my OLED screen that we got.
No, I know, but I'm just saying because mine, I was kind of bummed actually about how mine was not crisp, so maybe I got bad glasses.
Maybe, yeah. Well, mine were fogging up because of my mask, so I
broke the rules.
I broke the rules. I pulled it down so I couldn't fog up my glasses.
Because I was in like row 4, which was towards the middle. It wasn't like direct middle, but it was like right to the right
that's
of
the
middle.
thing with 3D and motion and stuff. It's very hard to keep the motion rate up. It's more like a technical term, but it's very tough to keep that up. So I understood, but like I said, it's the best I've seen. And it was very crisp. It was cool. Like I think you mentioned, like the stuff moving on you.
Like, because you're supposed to act like like you said, you're like on like a motorcycle stance, but you're on the back of this thing, so it's like it's breathing, and like you feel like your legs moving in and out and stuff.
Yeah,
so I feel like
as it's moving.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, like comparing it to the Harry Potter one, the Forbidden Journey, where you're on the broomstick. I definitely feel like I was flying more on the broomstick versus this dragon thing. I just wish that they did a little bit more with the movement to make it feel like you were going up and down, like you're, other than just the screen feeling or whatever. But I do like how they had the wind in your face.
Yeah.
And then you said it before, like, I wish there was some splashes of water, because...
Yeah, there was a lot of
There was a lot of water, and it was like, well, where's the water? I just, like, went into a water thing. Which, you know how I feel about the water, like... I don't know.
It
I'm
always
scared
gets
to
you.
death about, like... No, I mean, like, the ocean scares me. So, like, the one when, like, the wave is, like, going over you, I thought for sure we were going to go into the water, and I was going to see a water monster, and... Thankfully, we didn't get there, but I wanted to at least feel some wet. So I wish they did some 4D stuff like that at least or something.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was a very fun ride. It was at Animal Kingdom. I mean, it was the best ride there for sure. I mean, you can't really beat that. Well, the Everest was pretty good. We'll get into that. But when it comes to those kind of rides, it was really impressive. I just wanted a little bit more. I wanted to feel it. More simulated.
I wanted to,
But like you said, the breathing was cool and the wind, the music, visually pretty. I mean, come on. I mean, Avatar's a beautiful land, so you get to see all that. You get to see the little jellies in 3D.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it was so good.
And for the record, I didn't say I cried. I teared up a little bit because I let myself fall into that emotional thing.
That's
like,
good.
You know, like when you let the experience take you, I like let it do that. And the kids next to me, they were, I don't know how old they were, like probably my sister's age-ish, and they were just they looked scraggly nerds, but they were like the most politest kids I've like seen at that age. They were just so like, thank you, sir, like talking to the people that were working there, and they were about it. Like the one kid had a Pandora mask, like that was his thing. So like hearing their emotions for it and how much they were appreciating it and like loving it, and it was fun time, and we were all saying woo and all that together. Like we're like, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about like how happy these other kids were. But like it made me feel that too, and like I appreciate it more. And like it was one of those things like you could let yourself like be taken away with it and just take it. So that's all I meant. Like,
no,
I did like tear up because I was like, this is really beautiful, and oh my gosh, and like they're really loving it. Like they did. Yeah,
that's
right
like
for
a
them.
similar experience to like a movie theater. Like whenever you got the right audience, it makes that experience so much better. So I'm happy you got that. I didn't get that with mine.
Sorry.
I didn't have like the right people. I had some lady next to me. She wasn't doing much. I wanted to be louder, but I'm like, I didn't want her to judge me because like usually when I go on these rides, I'm next to you.
Yeah.
So I can be stupid and silly and I can scream because I love screaming, but and I couldn't, like at one point I was like, whoa, but I was like, oh, was that too loud?
Yeah, like somebody who doesn't know you would be like, what a weirdo.
Right, yeah. The only time I felt like the thing in my stomach was the initial like, all right, let's go, and then you drop down. That was the only time I felt it, and after that I was like, oh, okay, it was still fun, but yeah. So okay, so there's that. That was a little. Went on a little long on that one, but that is one of the most impressive rides I've seen, so it was worth talking about for sure.
If anything, I thought that we were gonna have like what's it called, like a conflict in it, and you said like there was that one thing. What is it, a banshee?
Something like that, yeah. It was the orange, bigger version of what you're riding. That is like the top predator in the whole island, and they made like a big deal about that in the movie, and it was the conflict here, but yeah, I wouldn't have mind to have seen more of it.
I thought we were gonna run into a little trouble with him or something, but
but
otherwise, like,
I mean, he was trying to eat us, but
it was like so quick and like a small part. And I think they said it was what, for the next 4 minutes you're going to experience whatever. I don't know. They like gave the time frame, and I was like, oh, so it's gonna be 4 minutes.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that, or I missed it. Okay, so then after that we did the Navi River journey. So that's just another boat ride. This one we took our kid on, and she was happy with that. A very colorful, very bright and pretty ride.
Yeah, like that neon.
Yeah, dark. Everything with the black lights and everything. Very advanced animatronic there with that one lady singing. Very cool. I mean, looked just like the freaking movie.
Yeah, it was like cool too that I really liked how I don't know, the singer and the music, it was like, you know, like when you sing along with something, or like the lead singer is just like a little bit louder or a little bit like ahead of the rest of the music, like they're singing live or something with it. Like she was singing like that. So it was, I don't know. She stood out, so the voice matched that character that was that big piece and
I
stuff.
didn't catch that, but that's a good.
It was just a neat thing because like you heard that song playing throughout and you heard her singing, but as you came closer, it was almost like real, like she was really singing it, like the star was there.
That's cool.
And it was like a little bit separated. I don't know. You know, like Selena's dad said, "You hear the drums, you hear this." I heard the singer.
Selena Gomez?
No, you know the one.
What's her last name?
Quintanilla?
Okay, sure.
What is it?
I don't know. That's probably it. Anyways.
It's a great show, but...
Yeah. We did Dinosaur.
Oh my goodness.
That was another one we did the rider swap. And let you and your sister go. Well, I hung out with my dead asleep kid. And apparently you didn't even know it had anything to do with the Disney movie. I did, which is why I wanted to do it, because I actually was a huge fan of it growing up.
Well, that Disney movie, I remember, like, just the puppets you got at Wendy's or whatever, and I remember thinking it was kind of a boring movie. But this ride, I didn't know what to expect. I had no idea that it had to do with the movie. Okay. And I'm going to be honest, I had my eyes closed for quite a few parts because it was scary. Yeah. And that when I came out and I told my sister, I was like, don't say anything. And I was trying not to show any kind of emotions, but I could tell my hair was like winded and it was just like, what did I just go through? And I'm about to go through it again. And I'm going to try to open my eyes 100% of the time, but I'm going to be honest, it happened again. I closed my eyes a few times.
Because this guy, when I said, all right, we're going to do the rider's tribe, I was like, okay, so then you guys are both going again. I was like, yes. I was like, oh, you getting it? Like, is this a hacker? But no, that's something we could do. I was like, oh, okay. So then, yeah, you went again with me this next time. And, yeah, that was a ride, huh? I
didn't want to tell you anything. Yeah. You were like, there's going to be a drop. Oh, I see it. We're going up. And I'm like, just wait. Because it wasn't a normal up.
Was probably the darkest ride I've been on in regards to like lighting. Like, there was not that much light in there, and there was a lot of just crazy movements. Like, it was back and forth, and you're being you're being jerked around. You're being jerked around a lot, back and forth, and it was crazy. Like, if you have neck problems, do not go on this ride. Like, I'm sure I'll have a backlash on it in the future because, jeez, it was really, really crazy. I had a really good time with it, though. It was fun, and it did what I like. It combined certain screens with a lot of animatronics and movements and everything. And I would have liked to drop. I don't think we had one, did we? If it was slight.
It was, yeah. And it would have been too quick because it had a lot of like quick.
Yeah, it was movements. Like, I don't know. It was like crazier than Test Track in regards to like the movements in it. It was weird, but it was really dark, and we got to see that T-Rex a lot, and it was scary. Mm-hmm. Like, it was loud.
up on my side. Like the first time when I went with my sister, I was at the very end seat. Yeah. Right next to it. So I was like, all right, when I go on with Felipe, I'm going to have him sit in my spot. But we actually loaded from the opposite side, and it threw me off. So ultimately, I ended up sitting one seat away, but still on the same side. Yeah. So that T-Rex still got me. Yeah. And it just, it was scary, but of course, it was a good one. Like, I feel like it's a very underrated ride. Like, I hadn't heard anything about it. My friends, I don't feel like, talked about it.
Yeah, they didn't. And I think they said that... Oh, wait, no. It was Tough to Be a Bug. They haven't been on. But, yeah, no one mentioned it. You know, I think that was one of my favorite rides in the whole trip.
That might have been one that they said it's... I don't know. She might have said it was a scary...
She did. I think she did say something like that.
But... Yeah. I left my mind because it was never talked about, and even when I like looked online to look at rides and stuff, like, it wasn't one that was talked about, and I feel like it's seriously underrated, and I would recommend that one.
Yeah. Then we did the Expedition Everest.
That one. Another rider swap one.
Yeah. Man, that was that got me on the way backwards in the
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah.
Oh man, I haven't felt that in my, because I built up a pretty decent stomach for the roller coaster now. I do enjoy them, and although I still feel it, I can handle it. This is the worst I felt in a very long time. It was still enjoyable, but it went on longer than I was comfortable with that in the dark, because I couldn't see what is happening, you know? Because like even like the dark, like the Rock and roller coasters and with the Mummy, like there's still lights and ghosts and stuff kind of lighting up, so I can still see the track. I couldn't see anything.
Yeah, no.
And maybe because I have my eyes closed, that might help too. But I was scared, let me tell you.
That would, yeah. Like,
yeah, but then it reversed itself into a normal coaster, and then it was a really good time.
that was a fun one too to ride first, because I rode that one again with my sister first, and again I told her don't tell Felipe anything. And that one I know for sure I was disheveled afterwards, because it was just neat. Like it wasn't your normal coaster. Like you couldn't really expect what was going to happen next. Like I had a feeling once we made that one first stop, because we went uphill and then we stopped.
The track was disconnected.
Yeah,
like,
and it was like, we're going to go backwards here. But it was like, no, you don't just go backwards. You go like back to loop, like craziness in the dark. Don't know how you're being thrown around. But it was good. Mm-hmm. And I like that. And I feel like that's another underrated one too.
Yeah.
The line for it though was like really boring, I guess, because it's a Yeti in the Everest, so it's like mountain climbing stuff and gear and like I guess village people. It reminded me of like National Geographic pictures in there, so I feel like you didn't really miss too much. But also when we did do the fast pass line, like you did get to still see some of that.
Yeah.
So you didn't miss anything.
You were like, this is about all you saw. Just a little more of this.
A lot more. Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot more.
But that was a fun one. I like that. Neither of those rides, we had no idea what to expect, and they were good.
Well, I mean, that was most of Disney. I mean, that was the fun part of going, even though, well, we'll talk about that later. We did, yeah, sorry, I was jumping the gun. Tough to be a bug. This is the one that was any height. You can bring our kids, but they did warn us, like, hey.
It's got some intense.
It's got some intense stuff. I'm like, come on, it's just bugs, and it's Bugs Life themed. Yeah. You know, like those bugs aren't even that scary. It got our kid.
It got her. She luckily like handled it well. Like she would cry and like be able to be okay again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she would move on.
So it was more of like a whiny, oh, I'm freaked out. But
Save me,
she never really, she never wanted to take off her glasses though. And she, I don't know, it was good.
Okay. Yeah, it was our kid's first 3D experience. She's never put on the glasses to see a movie in 3D. And when she put them on and the 3D actually started, didn't she like say, wow, or something like that, right? She
definitely noticed it was different.
Yeah, she like got kind of excited for a second and was like, you know, like, whoa, this is really neat. Because it was well done. Like, there was the scenes, it's very hard to do, especially in theme parks, when they try to go even really, really close. Like, how would that butterfly look to your eyes when it was flying really, really close? Was there one where you were kind of going cross-eyed a little bit trying to see it?
No, but again, like I said, like I was focused on her and her reactions. Like a lot of my attention was at her because I just wanted to like see how she was like looking at that.
There was 2 or 3 sequences where there was like a butterfly or some bug got really, really close. And even at Universal, you know, in Shrek and 4D and all that stuff, and in Transformers, very hard to get that close. I mean, it's impressive because it's like right there. Mm-hmm. But it's so close that it like hurts, at least my eyes, to see it. Now, I also had my vision distorted because the tallest man on the universe sat in front of me. So I couldn't, like he was covering up some of the screen. So maybe that's why I was kind of hurt my eyes, because I didn't get the full effect. But that was just for that. Like once it does the 3D, when it's like the window effect where it's like a lot of depth and stuff, very, very cool. It was really well done, especially because I could assume this is an older ride, right? But it was really cool that they did the 4D stuff with the spiders coming down. Like, it was actual spiders. That one got our kid too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like actual spiders in the in front of us, hanging from the ceiling. And Flick was there in the ceiling. He wasn't the best done, but Hopper, when he came out, he looked pretty good for what it was. And I think the way you were huddled with our child, you didn't get the full effect about some of the stuff they did with the seats. But there was a part where they had like hornets. Mm-hmm. They're like, "Oh, you gotta go sting the crowd," and I was waiting for like I don't know, just something in my face or something. But out of nowhere, from behind, like on my back, on my spine, I felt like a little. And like I said, it must have been like the same effect they did in Avatar, but at a higher degree. It was like a concentrated cone of air, or maybe something that just stuck out just a little bit, like something soft, not to hurt anybody. Yeah. But it scared me. Like I was like, oh, like I didn't expect that at all, and so did the audience. But that stuff usually doesn't get me. But I didn't know what to expect, and that really got me. And not only that, at the very end, they were like, all right, they were like being silly, like, all right, all the bugs moved to the left from the right of the theater and exit or something. And there was like something on our seat, and I think there was like a motorized thing, and it felt like bugs were crawling underneath my nalgas, under my butt. So very impressed with that ride for how I assume it's an older ride. I really don't know. So yeah. I was happy with that one.
Yeah, the way we were sitting, we definitely missed out on that, because to me, it was like, I'm Mama Bear, I'm saving my kid, because when she did get scared, she clung on to me, yeah. And it was like the sweetest thing, and I was taking it all in. But we were like in the middle of the seat, so like she wasn't, like we were like in the mid, like I guess on the sides of our seat, really, like in between two seats, because where it would have been that we would have got hit in the back, both of us were like towards each other, like huddled. And so we missed that, but we definitely got the water in our face. Yeah. And I feel like that was a lot of water.
It was a lot. It happened a couple times.
Because, like we've
done... The termite was sneezing or something, yeah.
Yeah, because...
Spitting acid or something.
Yeah, because, like, we've done those 4D things before, and it's always just been like, and there's a little bit of sprinkle. But no, that was like, here's the water hose. It
was just super soaker.
Yeah, but that was good. I like that, though.
Yeah, it was good.
And we did not feel the bugs on our seat, because... my feet went up, because I was thinking there was going to be some kind of wiggly stuff at your feet. So my feet went up. So my body just must have been far enough away from it. And I guess she didn't feel it either, because I feel like we would have got a reaction there from her. But
it was a subtle effect, but it was done well. Okay, so the next one we did, here was probably the downside of Animal Kingdom. We went to Rafiki's Island. Yeah. So with that one... it rained. Mm-hmm. And we weren't prepared, and we didn't have our diaper bag, and we didn't cover our stroller our stroller with the stroller cover. Like, we actually got it prepared, because we heard, oh, it's gonna be raining all Disney. We were really bummed, and thankfully for the most part, that was the only day it really rained. Mm-hmm. And it was, of course, when we had to get on a train to leave our stroller and go to a different area of the park, and we couldn't take our stroller with us, and it starts to rain then. So that kind of sucked, because we're like, well, our stroller is getting soaked back there. Now, thankfully, we were a little bit underneath some trees, but not enough to save it from the rain.
Yeah, and eventually it did stop, so I feel like it probably started at least drying a little bit.
Right. It wasn't like soaked to where we couldn't put our kid in the stroller, but whatever. But that, and then we didn't bring the diaper bag. Yeah. When does our kid decide to poop? Right when we're about to go on the freaking train. And it was too late, because that was a terrible train ride. I smelled that the whole time. Yeah.
Well, thankfully our friend brought their diaper bag.
Yeah, she let us get our... That was very nice. But yeah, man, it was a very long wait time to get onto the train, just to go to this island. And it really wasn't an island, but that's just what they called it. But it took us really far away from the resort. Like, I looked at the map, and it was kind of far, like, for a train to take us. And after I went there, I really didn't realize, or I didn't find a reason why it was out there. They had this is the part that had the petting zoo, and it had the bugs and some frogs and snakes and stuff, so some reptiles and whatnot. and they were supposed to have like a little animation presentation, which we weren't going to sit with our kid.
Yeah.
So we knew we weren't going to do that. But the main reason we went was for the petting for the petting zoo. But I had a feeling she really isn't like that. Like our kid doesn't really like animals. She likes them, but not enough to go and touch them. She's still afraid and cautious of things.
Yeah, because they're big, weird things that are not
like
humans.
she doesn't even interact with our dog that much.
Yeah.
Every now and then she like pets her or whatever, but she loves them at a distance.
Yeah.
And I knew it wasn't gonna go well, and it didn't. Like, she wasn't crying or anything. We were just like, you wanna pet the goat? No. No. So she didn't want anything to do with, like, she was really happy to see them and stuff. And at one point, I think you were off doing something with your sister. A goat like walked right in front of her, and she was like kind of like in awe for a second, but still didn't want to touch it, didn't want to move, didn't want to follow it, just watching.
I saw
intently.
the one walk past you guys pooping.
Yeah, well, that one too. Yeah, so that didn't go well, but whatever, we got to do it. And then we went inside, and we had a little bit more success with the spiders and well, not the spiders, she didn't like that, but what are the snakes? She
frogs.
really liked the frogs, and she wouldn't stop saying frogs. And that was when one of the little bit of Disney magic we saw was one of the ladies that came out and like talked to our kid and stuff for a little bit. So that was it. And then after that, we weren't gonna do the presentation. Now there was an area where it looked like a doctor's office. And what did you mention happened there? Like, your friends were talking about
Yeah, they were talking about how, like, one time they saw a little chimp or monkey or something getting worked on. I don't know if they were doing some kind of surgery or something, but they were working on it. So I guess they actually bring in animals, because they had a video playing of, like, stuff that they do, and I saw, like, a tiger or something being worked on.
Yeah.
But apparently they actually bring that, and it's like a viewing. You could watch them checking them out or helping them or doing whatever.
Yeah, operations and stuff. So they
Yeah.
said it. I think they said it was like a surgery, and I want to say it was an actual gorilla. That's what husband said. So, anyways, so that's it. After that, it was like time to go back and wait a long time again to get on the train to go back.
It was like a big dead area, though.
Yeah, and again, this would have been a nice little thing to have right in the park. Why did we have to go to an island? Like, if the whole point was to see the operations, like, I get being far enough away from people so you can work on your animals. If you want to do that, like, I don't know. I feel like just build another lab. Disney's got money. Like, you don't have to. I don't know. You don't even need that, because again, they're not always gonna be operating on something. So don't have that out there. That was what, 2.5 hours of our time gone.
I feel like it was definitely a really long time, because the wait time to get on the train, which that was crazy too. I feel like there was so many people coming and going on the train, but like once we actually got out there was like no one there. And maybe that was because of the rain, everybody fled.
Yeah, everyone immediately turned around.
So I guess so, but I don't know. People were even like saying, like you said, we heard them saying, no, that was a waste of time and stuff. Yeah. It would have been cute for like memories and stuff. Like, I get like why we went out there, but I think if your kid's a little bit older, they'll appreciate it more, or like 3 or 4 maybe, or even if they're just animal grabbers.
Yeah.
Then maybe.
Yeah. But the train could have been easier though. COVID affected it. There was that whole row in front of us that no one could sit at.
Yeah.
You saw, so it could have doubled or halved all that time.
Yeah.
So something to consider, but still.
It would have been an opportunity to see more animals, I feel like, too. Like, in Busch Gardens, there's this one ride thing that you can go on. It's up in the air, and it takes you literally, like, over all the animals in the zoo.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
It's like a transportation to get
Busch Gardens is a zoo.
Yeah, it takes you from one part of the park to the other, and you see all those animals and stuff, and I just feel like that would have been a cool transportation opportunity to pass through the animals, besides the safari. But just to see them and get another glance at them.
Okay.
Maybe see those lions that we didn't get to see.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna talk about here. So yeah, so we did the Rafiki's thing, and that one unfortunately was not good. So we needed something better. So we went and did the Kilimanjaro safari. Another big hit with our kid. We got to go and move and see some animals. Very cool. I got to see some what did we see?
Let me see.
Some elephants.
I got some pictures. Yeah, we got a bunch of elephants. We
Yeah,
saw
we
the
got
two
we
young
saw the
elephants.
Yeah, the young elephants playing. We saw the one like bathing itself, and it was in the water. So that
and it was
fun.
like picture perfect. Like both instances, like I got good pictures. Like
oh yeah, I never looked back at the pictures you got. So
yeah, the elephants. They said they were young ones or brothers or something that were play fighting or something.
They were, like,
but there was like a picture perfect moment because I got them with their trunks intertwined, and that's cool to see. And then the other one, when we had first seen them when we were coming over, the one that was bathing with his trunk up in the air and stuff, and it was just cute. Like I got some really good pictures. I feel like there.
Good. Yeah, we got to see that. We got to see some zebras, some giraffes,
some little island with some birds. Sorry, I always flip it weird, but it was very like pretty, scenic-y thing.
Oh yeah, the flamingos, the white, slightly pink flamingos.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That is what those are.
Yeah, we had a whole bunch of animals that I forgot the names of. We got to see some rhinos.
Wildebeests.
The wildebeest.
I was gonna call it and be like wildebeest because Lion King. I know that.
Yo, you killed Mufasa. But
let's not get dark. But then, what else did we see? Oh, the ostrich that just like walked right
it
in
wasn't
front of us.
in the right area.
Yeah,
the lady was like, this guy shouldn't be over here, but here he is. Yeah, we saw the eggs. That was cool.
It was cool to see like giant random eggs out there. They looked like giant tennis balls, but tennis ball color.
That. Yeah.
Tennis ball color, but yeah, giant eggs.
It was like so perfectly in the middle of a field. You would think like the employees put that there, but no, that's just I guess where it decided to nest. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah, and
he was just chilling. He kind of walked by. Of course, not in the area where we were, but he walked to the bus.
Yeah, and then there was some like little campsite post. Oh, the ranger station that had like little goat things.
Yeah, they were chilling on the ceiling,
out on the roof and on the porch and stuff.
Yeah.
You guys can't see my picture, but
I'm
looking back to refer.
No, that's good you're talking about it because I will share some of these.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah. So.
Never mind. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah. And we got to see. Was that the one we got to see the other big rhino? Because there was like the two little ones, and they're like, "Oh, here's the white one, the big." And they said it was white because it was pronounced "vite" or something, like that.
But it's pronounced "vite," but it doesn't mean white.
Right. No, I know. That's just what they call it. Is what it sounds like. But anyways, we got to see that. The one big disappointment, of course, they were like, oh, here's a lion's den, and it looked kind of like a Pride Rock kind of deal, a whole bunch of rocks and stuff.
And the termite mounds.
The termite mounds were cool.
Those were impressive.
Yeah,
that's wild.
They're big. So you got to see some cool stuff, but yeah, no freaking lions.
Nope.
So it was, they were all hiding or whatever. It was a hot day. I get it. I wouldn't want to be out there either. The wildebeest got him. So. Yeah, so that was a little sad, but whatever. The safari was really cool. I wanted a little bit more from it. Like, I wanted to see some more stuff just a little up close. Like, there was, like, hippos that were kind of far away. But I get it. It's a safari. You're not going to... That's why people like going on those, because you never know what you're going to see.
Yeah.
Or, like, what's going to be a perfect picture moment. Like, other people didn't see that intertwined thing or the bathing.
Yeah.
So...
The line was ridiculous. I feel like it was a lie.
Yes.
It was 45 minutes, but...
Nope.
It was like 6 hours long, and the lady said like this was the shortest that she had seen it, and I don't know if she was just trying to sell us the safari or what, but
she saw it worked, but we were disappointed. It was
I'm so glad we did it though, but
it was a hot
that
day.
line was terrible, and it wasn't 6 hours, but it was really long.
Yeah, it was really long. Okay, after that we just did 2 more self-guided tours. We did the gorilla tours. And throughout that, we got to see some cool stuff. Of course, the gorillas were the highlight there because we got to see a little one being silly and playing with the garbage lid or something. He was just running around. All the moms and parents were just chilling with their feet up and stuff. Like, I don't need this. There was just one by itself over here, just looking off in the distance, all stoically and whatnot. So it was fun.
Is this the one that they said they were matriarchs? Was that a mom or was that a dad? That big one.
They were talking about that with elephants.
Oh, the elephants were the matriarchs.
Yeah. But anyways.
But that one was really big, and we had a picture next with our little.
But yeah,
to it, so you can see how big it is.
Throughout the tours, I'm gonna get it mixed up, of course, because we saw a lot of stuff. But pretty much, we did a gorilla tour, and we did one that was the theme was tigers. And throughout it, we got to see a variety of stuff. So we got to see some bats hanging, which were really impressive because they were the fruit bats and they were big. There was some big boys there. So we got to see some of that. We got to see a tiger. Apparently, it was one of the smaller species, and I could tell. I've definitely seen bigger ones online, but it was still impressive to see him just kind of walking up. And he was up close to the window, so that was cool.
Yeah, I'm glad we got some pictures and got to see some big cats.
Yeah. So there was this one really cool room that our kid liked because it was just nothing but birds, and she loves birds. And they were just all walking around just in front of you and flying around and zooming past your head. And thankfully, none of us got bombed with poop, which I was worried about. But hey, it was a really cool room, and they had just a whole bunch of variety of crazy birds walking around. So it was really cool. Got to see some pretty peacocks and just random things. So there was this area that I don't know why it was closed off, but it had naked mole rats.
Yeah, and on the safari,
the lady... let me walk over there.
Yeah, on the safari, the lady was like, yeah, you can go do the whatever tour that was, and you could see the naked mole rats, like specifically pointing those out. And we walked past, and that spot was blocked off. She's like, nope, not going to see these today. Sorry, guys.
The lady said... Here's a Disney magic for you.
Oh, yeah.
You can look these up online and see what they look like.
Yeah. Telling a kid that.
I know what a naked mole rat. I want to see it in real life.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So we saw them from a distance. Those little critters.
Same difference. Anyways, one person will get that reference.
Yeah. But I wish I got pictures of it, and I didn't. But the Tiger Kingdom area, like the way it was decorated.
Yeah, we should have.
Really cool.
I considered going back and taking a picture of it, but dang, I wish he was up there. That would have been a cool picture.
Yeah, that really would have been like a Tiger Kingdom, but
yeah,
it just like, I don't know what that style is, but the architecture and the pictures or whatever was painted on it was all really nice. I liked it.
Yeah, I got to see some fishies.
I'll have to go on Google and research what it looked like, because
yeah.
I don't know.
So that was let's see, that was pretty much it for Animal Kingdom. I mean, there was stuff like animal exhibits. I think I mentioned earlier. Just like, here's some otters, here's some monkeys, here's some birds, here's some flamingos, here's where a red kangaroo was supposed to be, and I didn't believe it until the end when we saw it. And then that was it. I mean, there were some fun pictures. Tree of Life was cool. Just random things throughout the park was fun. So
that was like one of the things, like you said, though, at the reservations and stuff, that was one of the places we had a really hard time trying to find a place to eat for lunch.
Yeah, that sucked. I was like, everywhere. I'm like, oh, this place looks good. Reservation. This place looks good. Reservation. Let's do that Rainforest Cafe. Reservation. I'm like, oh my God. Like, dude.
Yeah, and then this place that we ended up eating at, I forget what it was called, the Flame
Grill or something.
Flame something. It had outdoor seating, so for the rainy day that was kind of stinky, but luckily we hit it at a time when it was just barely lightly drizzling here and there, and then eventually stopped.
Yeah, stopped right when it was time to eat. But...
And it wasn't a restaurant that we went inside that we had to park our stroller and wake up our kids, so she got to sleep for a couple hours.
Yeah, that was the best sleep she got all trip was that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing is with that seating area, like that restaurant was filled. We had to find a different area, like extra seating, kind of far, but still nice.
Yeah.
But so overall thoughts, Animal Kingdom. That was the final park that we did.
I feel like, as much as we talked about that one, that kind of seemed like our favorite one.
Oh no, it wasn't.
No.
No.
I don't know. There was a lot of good stuff. I feel like
No, well, go ahead, continue.
I feel like I would have liked to have done that on like a different trip, maybe, or something. Like, I wish I had more energy for that one.
That's what I was gonna.
Because I remember like walking through it and I was like, I don't think I like this park so much. We could have probably done without this park. Like, dang. But then once we did the rides, like the Yeti one and the dinosaur, I was like, this is probably some of my favorite rides. And then just because they were like unexpected and something like away from the norm for what they were. And like, I normally do love animals and like appreciate them a lot more and not want to be into them, but I am into them. But because like my feet just like physically had enough. I feel like I couldn't enjoy it as much as I would have normally.
Yeah, that was the big thing with me. We chose to end on a day after 3 days in a row. This is our third day of just walking sometimes from 7 to, well, we would wake up at 5:30 and end the day real late and get back to our hotel like around like almost 11 or even closer to 12. Like it was the whole day on our feet,
Yeah.
a couple exceptions. And we chose to go to the park that was the hottest day, also rained. Our kid was not having it that day. She 3 days is a lot for a 2-year-old. She did a lot of walking around, but still. And again, her sleep was screwed up from the previous days. She finally gets to sleep at the hotel. She's going to bed at 12, where she normally goes to 8:30. We're waking her up at 4, or at like 5:40, or I guess around 6 by the time we wake her up. So she's really not doing good when it comes to sleep. So it was a rough day, and we were all kind of on edge because it was like, all right, here's the end, and it's so hot during that false line estimate in the Kilimanjaro safari. Whew, that was rough, but overall it was a really fun park. And
I feel like
you said, maybe another, like its own trip would have been a cool thing, or maybe split up with the pool day after it or something, or I don't know, before it, I guess. Rest up our legs because it was rough, but it was a fun park. I liked it. I wish I had more chance to do even more, because there was more animals to see that we didn't get to see. But I feel like we hit the big ones that you don't get to see at a normal zoo.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I really liked it. Just could have appreciated it more if I wasn't dead. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so maybe it wasn't our favorite, but there was a lot of... I do have a lot of favorites in there.
Yeah, of course.
For feeling like this is terrible. Like I said, like I went into it like, okay, maybe we didn't need to do it, but I'm glad we did it, and it turned around, and I had a lot of good stuff from it.
All right.
Okay, anyways, what were you saying? I cut you off, sorry.
No, it's okay. No, well, we're done. We talked about all 4 parks, so this is the end. Overall thoughts on Disney Orlando Resort or whatever. No, not the resort, but Disney World.
How do we say that? Because whenever we talked about it, like, what's your favorite place to go? I always think of Universal Studios Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, because the commercials.
The commercials. Yeah. So now it's Walt Disney World, Orlando, Florida. It was fun.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. But I feel like, okay, so you said, unfortunately, we had to split it up weird. I feel like that was a fortunate thing.
Yeah, now that I think
that
about it,
we didn't do 4 days in a row, because no way in heck. But I feel like it's fine that we did the Hollywood Studios, just the 2 of us, because that was really good too. But it would have been cool if we could have split it like 2 and 2.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and definitely going the night before the park was a really good thing to do. So I feel like maybe you would need to do still, what is that, 3 nights? No, we did 3 nights. Do 2 nights in 3 days, so that you do a hotel, stay the night, and then park the next day, so that you wake up there. Yeah. This is if you're driving or traveling. If you live in Orlando, whatever. But anyways, and then next day, if you could take a break or do Epcot.
No, you said do 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two park days.
Oh, okay. I don't think you mentioned the second part just now. I might have not heard you, but so you're saying get there before you go to the parks. Get there the night of, so you can wake up there. Correct?
Not night of, night before. Yes.
Well, yeah, the night before. The night before.
Wake up at the park the next day. So that's,
and then hang out, and then do another park the next day after that.
Or you could do that as like if you're like really fancy and have the extra luxury of doing it, doing another
You did
doing another hotel day in between, and then being I'm sorry, you're messing me up. And then doing another park. So I guess that would still be 4 days and 3 nights. Oh, okay. Yeah. Like what we did was 3 nights and 4 days but we did 3 parks for the 3 days. But I'm saying replace the second day park with a hotel. Okay. If you have the luxury of doing it that way. Otherwise, just do 2 days back to back and that's fine. You don't need to go a third day. And I think you'll still be okay.
Okay, I thought you were giving advice on if you were trying to do all 4 parks. So you just said 3 just now.
No. I'm saying
you did, but...
No, I'm not saying 3 parks. I'm saying hotel, park, hotel, park.
That's
if you
2
have,
parks?
Yes, for 2 and 2. 2 parks.
A day?
No.
I'm so confused. So you're making this
No, I'm saying if you have the extra luxury of drawing out a vacation and you want to take a 4-day vacation and you bought the 4-day, if you had the luxury of doing this twice.
Okay, you're saying 4-day vacation, but you're saying have 1 day be relaxation. That's not 4 days then. You would need 5.
Okay, listen to me.
I'm listening.
So there are 4 parks.
This is...
There's 4 parks.
Okay.
So I'm saying if you have the luxury of splitting these trips into 2 trips.
Oh, 2 whole different trips.
Yeah, 2 whole different trips. Like, see how we did Hollywood Studios a few weeks ago? And we had that trip.
Gotcha.
And now this is a second trip. So I'm saying if you have the luxury of splitting it up and you can take 2 weeks off randomly or 2 4 days. Gotcha. And then you had that additional luxury. You could do a hotel and then a park and then do another break day hotel and then another park. Or you could do a hotel, park, and you'd be fine too. If you wanted to do just 3 days. Like that.
That makes more sense. Thank you for clearing that up on this paper that she's writing this on.
Drawing a visual map that's got a bunch of H and P's for hotel and park.
Harry Potter. Yeah. Okay. So
that went off longer than I thought, but
anyways. So that's some good advice.
Splitting up your 4-day.
Yeah. The 3 days in a row was too much.
Yes.
That definitely ruined our enjoyment of Animal Kingdom. Okay, so I guess before we go over our thoughts, what was your favorite park?
I don't know. I was like thinking about that, and after like we broke it down and like talked about everything, like I don't know. I guess we just have to go again so I could see. I had favorites from each one.
Yeah, same here.
I feel like Epcot, I really enjoyed that one even as a kid because I'm a weird person and I feel like as a kid, not kid, but middle school kid, like I enjoyed that. But like I said, I'm already a person who likes cultural stuff and I liked that. And that was the closest to traveling anywhere other than, within here. So that, or within the United States. So that was cool for me. And I still feel like that holds to me that I would really appreciate Epcot if we got to experience the countries more than we did. But I still really liked it. And yeah, I don't know.
Okay, looking at the list here of the stuff that we did, I really like getting the best bang for your buck.
Yeah.
And from what I can tell, Magic Kingdom is the one that we did the most stuff on.
Yeah. And
I feel like we really filled out that day. And I got my money's worth. Like, there was never a thing where I'm like, well, we kind of did everything, huh? Like what I have written down here, all the stuff that I still wanted to do, and I didn't just get a chance. There was like 4 things there. Mm-hmm. And we still did a whole bunch of rides. Again, definitely more catered towards kid, but that's what we did.
Yeah, that's what we're there for.
We brought our kid there for a reason. We were happy to see her be happy, and this gave me it. I was just, the main thing I was sad with, again, was the characters not really being prevalent there too much. The princesses were great, but that's not enough.
Yeah.
So, well, and again, like you said, we can pick and choose from different parks. Like the Epcot had Mickey and Minnie right away. Some things with Epcot as well. Certain things with Animal Kingdom, and all that stuff. But
For the kid experience, taking your kid, definitely, I think the obvious would be Magic Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Although, too, in Animal Kingdom, we didn't mention the characters. We did see a few more different characters than we did.
She didn't.
No,
I know, but
yeah,
that's the thing. We're there for the kids,
well, because she's sleeping.
She was asleep, so...
She was burnt out, but yeah.
But they were all on boats.
Yeah.
None of them were ever, like, in a... Good to take a real good picture. That wouldn't be a good picture. A boat in the background of our kid. You know, that would be too far away.
Yeah, I did notice that when I looked at the... Who was it that we saw? Was it Rafiki?
We saw Rafiki and Timon first.
Yeah, that was the one. That's the one that, like,
but
I got
she don't know those characters too much.
She doesn't know, but what I'm saying is that I got a picture of her, and, like, I get what you're saying, that, like, it was further away.
Yeah.
But she also missed Pocahontas.
Yeah, and what was the raccoon's name?
Miko.
And
then there was somebody else we saw, too, or that you saw.
I saw, it was Donald, and then 2 other birds. One of them was, like, a pilot, and the other one I forgot.
Yeah, so she wouldn't have known all that, but she knows Donald, so that would have been a good one.
When again, she didn't know those bears either, and she was happy that someone was waving and cartoony, so she would have liked to see anybody. So
I don't know. I thought it was cool that Animal Kingdom had them on the boat because that gave it the jungle experience that they're like on a river passing through or whatever. That was I think that was cool. Too bad she was sleeping.
Yeah, she was asleep the whole time.
But,
so.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not a problem with the park, just something to happen with our kid.
But yeah, I agree. Magic Kingdom, definitely. If you want your Disney memories, Magic Kingdom is the one.
Is the place. My favorite, it would be Animal Kingdom if I wasn't dead. Yeah. But I will say I had a better time during Magic Kingdom because I wasn't dead. that was our first day, so I had and again we did a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, okay, Magic Kingdom is my favorite.
Okay.
Would you agree or would you do something else?
Yeah, no, Magic Kingdom for the kid. I think.
For you.
Epcot. For me, Epcot probably. But Animal Kingdom, I don't know. Epcot and Animal Kingdom are kind of like tied for me because Animal Kingdom, like I said, kind of snuck up on me. Like I liked it more than I thought I was going to. Just wish I wasn't dead. But Epcot.
Yeah, I think I started out with Animal Kingdom. Like this was the one I was the most excited for. I will say I was a little bummed out again, I also had a terrible headache. Kid was crying, terrible headache, hot, feet hurt. It was a summation of a lot of bad things, and it ruined my enjoyment. But so ultimately, I didn't have as much fun during Animal Kingdom as I wanted to. But still a good time.
But I feel like 4 or 3 days like that, back to back, long days for a 2-year-old, I still feel like she did a really great job.
She did pretty good.
Yeah, she like freaked out. She had her like freakouts, but I
had to pick up her juice that she threw off the stroller a few times, but whatever.
And the one that landed in the gift shop, that was embarrassing.
Oh yeah, and it opened.
Sorry about that, but we did ask for paper towels and we cleaned it up.
Yeah.
We didn't just leave it and run away, but I don't know. I still feel like she handled it okay.
Yeah.
Any like things that you thought were handy or anything?
Handy?
The fan with this was handy.
Oh yeah, definitely bring a fan. Bring a ton of snacks. Well, all this stuff is kind of obvious, really.
Yeah.
We didn't mention the water, the refillable stations.
Oh yeah.
Where
they at?
We saw one at Universal Studios Hollywood, and it was just a normal refillable station there next to a water fountain.
Bubbler.
And we were like, okay, perfect. This is great. I hope they have these everywhere. No, I mean, not that I saw. They had 1 or 2 that we saw in the middle of a ride. So of course on a ride we're not taking all our stuff. And we're not going to have our water bottles on the ride because I don't want it to be in the way or holding it or anything. Why would they put a refillable station in the like halfway through Navi's river journey or whatever it was? I'm like, I'm not gonna leave the ride to go get my water bottle to refill it. These should have these everywhere, just to refill our water bottle. Because what we had to do is we had to keep asking for extra water when we're picking up our food, which made it harder to walk that thing because they don't give lids because of COVID, or I assume because of COVID. I don't know. of the tray, so it was like nerve wracking as I'm trying to carry this back to the table. But
Well, like,
just something that they should have that.
well, thinking about it though too, like we're used to Universal, and there's roller coasters all over the place, so we're always sticking our stuff in lockers.
Yeah.
So when we're in line, we don't usually have our stuff. And this time, I feel like because we had the stroller, you obviously can't bring a stroller in line. So we left all of our stuff with the stroller, which they had stroller parking everywhere. That was
very cool, yeah.
That was really cool, and it was like
I'm
there was people that were patrolling it, so you felt safe doing it. But anyways, my point is, like, we left all of our stuff with the stroller, but there was still people in line that had their gear with them because they weren't crazy rides that, like, you couldn't. Right.
How many boat rides did I mention?
Yeah, it was all boat rides and stuff. So you, technically, like, yeah, you might have your water bottle with you or whatever, but because of COVID, you're not allowed to take off your mask. You're not allowed to eat and drink in lines, and they play that thing over and over again to remind you you're not supposed to be drinking and stuff. So to have that in the middle of the Navi River thing or whatever, that didn't make sense. Plus, that was a very covered line to wait in. So it was like, that doesn't make sense here. Go put it out by the safari.
Yeah. Dude, I tell you. Yeah.
But I don't know. I still think, even with all their downs, it was a great trip.
Yeah, Disney is a must-do for sure. Being a big Universal fan, this still doesn't touch Universal to me.
No.
Universal, and again, I'm not a child anymore, so I do like the rides. Like I said, I love seeing how people make a ride work, like all the magic behind it, like the skill and everything. And Universal's got that down way more than I think Disney does. Now, Disney does have a lot of. I was still very impressed with a lot of, especially the more newer rides with Disney. They have a lot of cool stuff in the works, and Universal better watch out. But Universal's still by far. I mean, even Universal's older rides are still, I think, better. I mean, man, how long has Men in Black been there? It's been there a while, and it's
strong.
Awesome.
It's
how long has Mummy been there? That was since I don't know when it actually came out.
It was
the ride.
like 2002 or something, or 2001
Still,
maybe.
that's
but yeah,
20-year-old ride, and it's.
Oh my god, already. 20. No, I'm saying 20 years old.
Oh, I know. So.
But
yeah,
I don't know. We're like Universal snobs, but we're also
we're
like
definitely
coming from the technical side. Like, I know, with our TV production stuff like that, we can appreciate what goes on behind the scenes a lot more.
Yeah,
and
I
stuff.
love watching the behind the scenes of everything.
It's something that we look out for. I feel like more than most people would. They like to just go and they're like, oh, this looks pretty, but we're thinking about what's like really going into it, and like all of their like really technical stuff that goes into it. I don't know. We just I feel like we appreciate that kind of stuff more, so that stands out. So like you said, like Universal, I feel like everywhere has something where there was so many dead spots, I feel, here and there. But like you said too, it's future stuff to come, so it'll be exciting to take our next trip one day. Yeah. To see.
Our kid won't be free anymore.
Maybe our next one. Not an announcement. We're not doing it. Just throwing it out
Comment
there.
the word baby if you think. No. Okay, well, cool.
Yeah.
So overall, we had a good time. Definitely worth going. Regardless of kid or not. Kid would enjoy it the most, though, for sure.
Yeah. Can't wait till our kid's tall enough to enjoy Universal, though.
Yeah, that'll be another podcast 2 years from now.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun. We shouldn't be singing Universal songs at a Disney podcast.
I know, but...
All right, so to end the cast... Oh, you know what? No, I'm going to say thank you, everybody, for listening. This is a solid almost 3 hours that we have here. Jesus. But there was a lot to say, okay? We had 4 days. And we condensed it to 3 hours for you.
Yeah, and you're talking with a woman, and that happens. You talk a lot.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you're right. So I hope you enjoyed this special one-off. If we get some some good buzz with this, maybe I can have you on some more casts there. You did solid for your first time podcasting.
Thanks.
Now we're going to end the cast, and you're going to sing one of the Disney songs. Okay? What you got? You used to be in chorus, so.
Love is an open door.
Love is an open door. Welcome to a special episode of Educated Discussions. Shut up. Alright, hang on.
I could just see the giggle smile coming before it even came.
This is weird. Okay.
Sorry, I'm not Elmo.
I know.